They stay in the 3-4. And can Dallas move against that Tampa defense? That's the question today. Before this sellout crowd at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. A very hot, humid, and muggy day. Temperatures almost up to 100 degrees as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers visit for the second time in their existence. They are 2-0. The Dallas Cowboys, after that loss to Denver last week, are 1-1. Good afternoon. I'm Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire. And Brookie, that Tampa Bay philosophy is a little bit different from most teams.
Well, they play very conservative on the offense, but the fellow that we're going to talk to right here will tell us what's happened to the great doomsday secondary. Everybody's out. Kyle's out. Barnes is out. Hughes went down. Your replacement when you retired, Cliff Harris. How can you rebuild an entire secondary in time to maybe make a run for a conference playoff?
Well, the thing that's going to help, Tom, is the front four that Dallas has. They need this week to put a lot of pressure on Doug Williams because Doug can be a good passer, but when pressured, you know, he can throw it up some too. This could be a good week for the young secondary if they if they put the pressure on Williams and they can get some interceptions, I think, off of him.
Now, if Charlie Waters would go down, if that knee wouldn't hold up, that he's coming back, would Cliff Harris put back on 43 and do it again?
That'd be a tough situation. I really think that Charlie's going to be able to hang in there. He's got that special brace. He went to New York and built the brace for his knee this week and feels good about it.
Okay, Cliff. Good defense. Good luck, my friend.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, Patrick.
All right, Thomas. Gary Premian here is a little bit earlier as the toss of the coin proceedings took place out in the center field. Gary Premian, of course, and you see that Dallas has won the toss. They'll receive with Premian to kick off. Picked him up from New Orleans. Of course, he had those many great years at Miami, and here's the kick from Premian. It'll be number 40, Eric Hurt, the rookie, who comes out to about the 24-yard line before the Buccaneers swarm around him. So Dallas will take over with the first down.
And Cliff Harris might put himself back in the lineup if needed. That was rather interesting and revealing, wasn't it?
He looks like he's in certainly good enough shape to do it.
The Cowboys have been scoring some points, though. They got 17, and of course they went down with a 21-point loss, but did put some points on the board against Denver, too.
And it came off, of course, of a very impressive opening Monday night win over Washington. Tampa Bay, 2-0. They beat Cincinnati. Last week, the Los Angeles Rams, 10-9. Three-man front. They stay in it all the time as Billy Joe Dupree comes in motion. Tony Dorsett behind Herbert Scott with the handoff. Gets about 3 on the outside. Taken down by Danny Reese.
The handoff was to Tony Dorsett. He moved the ball to the 29.
Very hot and humid, as we mentioned a minute ago. Danny White has got some awfully big shoes to fill, but everybody here has great confidence that he certainly has the ability and the intelligence to take the place of Roger Staubach. In the hat, one of the great coaches and one of the great characters and gentlemen, John McKay, the head man of the Buccaneers. Ron Springs is the other running back, along with Dorsett. Dorsett deep now. Danny White looking to throw a screen, got Dorsett in the middle. He'll have it up for a first down and perhaps a little bit more. Pretty good little maneuver right there.
It's a great call, though. It's called screen middle. Screen middle out of the eye. Against the 34. Remember, those linebackers have now dropped. You can see 55 fighting off the block. Pretty good blocking. A great spin by Dorsett. And look at him make sure the ball's put away. He does have a little trouble holding on to that hog bladder, doesn't he?
He has in the past. Dave Logan made the tackle, by the way. He took the place of Randy Crowder. He's the nose guard now. Crowder is out for the year. John Fitzgerald right in front of Logan. As they shift out of the eye on a 1st and 10 this time from the 38-yard line of Dallas. This is Ron Springs for about 4 or 5 straight ahead. Richard Wood stopped him. Buccaneers have some great linebackers.
They're not only great, they're large, and they are fast. This is a young man that's very impressive, though. Springs has just put Robert Newhouse on the sidelines. He doesn't look as big as he is. He's carrying around about 212 pounds, very thick through the upper body. And I think now the fellow that we just talked about is going off. Looks like he's a little gimpy.
Like he might have been shaken just a little bit. But perhaps not. Maybe they're just going with an extra tight end. Jay Saldi on 2nd and 5. Line up on the left side down at the bottom of your picture. White gives to Dorsett on the call, and he'll have a first down and more in Tampa territory. Cecil Johnson made the tackle, but watch the blocking.
Might be working on young Logan in their middle playing nose. As Pat told you, Crowder's out. Fitzgerald turned him aside. And all Donovan had to do really was just get Leroy Selman to the outside. And there's still nobody that can scare you much more than Tony Dorsett, maybe Walter Payton and Earl, but other than that, that's about it.
Maybe a guy named Sims up in Detroit who's off to such a great start. Dorsett is most effective like that when he has time to look at things develop in front of him.
Newhouse is now in there, Pat, at fullback.
Springs is out. This is Dorsett again. Did a lot of work, and effective work so far. He's got about 6. Bill Kohler made the tackle that time.
Big block was by Rafferty, number 64. Penn Stater now has worked on his weightlifting, the free weights and all, and he's gotten himself to about 260 pounds, and 64 is a very fine pulling guard. One of the great drafts I think Gil Brandt and company ever pulled off.
You see Aaron Brown looking over the sidelines in his Buccaneer uniform, getting the defensive signals. They stay in a 3-man front, and you just can't chase them out of it. They have faith in it, and they do it almost as well as anybody else. 2 tight ends, Dave Saldy and Tony Hill, and Billy Joe Dupree all in the game at the same time. Danny White outside of Dorsett. Dorsett will have another Dallas first down. Taken down by Cecil Johnson as Tom Landry is in communication with his coaches upstairs.
I noticed the Cowboys are not doubling on Leroy Selman yet. They're letting Donovan just go ahead and take him on with the idea that if Dorsett has had to be kept in to block and double up on Selman, then you don't have him in the pass offense. And that time they did it, got it to Dorsett in the flat, and, you know, you don't fair catch on those kind. He just took it and went.
Dorsett is on record as having said he'd like to run the ball at least 30 times every game. A lot of people have doubts of whether or not he could stand that physically or not, but I believe the Cowboys are going to find out as Dorsett moves that big back deep. Ball at the Tampa Bay 33-yard line. First down, and here's Dorsett again. And again, he finds some cutting room, and it's near another first down. Cecil Johnson again on the tackle, but Dorsett waited again for the blocking to develop.
Misdirection play, misdirection play. The play starts right. Now watch the linebackers get caught up inside. Look at the block by Rafferty again. Roll him all the way up. That's how they teach you to block at Happy Valley, Penn State, huh?
That's one of those cases where both the blocker and the defender did a good job.
Turned it back inside. You mentioned whether Dorsett can take the punishment or not. Nobody will find out better than this bunch in the orange and white. Do they beat on you?
And they keep on and on. We were talking to some of the coaches, Tampa Bay coaches before the game about the heat. And they said, we're used to it. It's not even a factor. Here's Danny White. Good protection. Screen again to Billy Joe Dupree. Did manage to find the handle and also found David Lewis, who is right there with him.
Curtis Jordan, the safety man, came up, and actually Jordan may have hit the linebacker and hurt him.
That's David Lewis, who's down. Short of a first down. Ball down on the Tampa Bay 27.
That's part of the USC connection that McKay has. He has 6 Southern Cal players, and of course 2 of them are the big linebackers. That's Dave Lewis that's down, and of course big Cecil Johnson too.
Can't find a better place to go for talent, I don't think, than Southern California. David Lewis, the linebacker who was injured on that last play, is out, came out under his own power, and seems to be just shaking a bit. There he is on the sideline. It is 3rd down and 4.
I think Hawkins will take his place over there, Pat. Big play. Again, Dallas making a lot out of 1st and 2nd downs. They're moving well.
Now it's 3rd down, and James Jones runs Springs in the Dallas backfield. Danny White looking at a blitz, looking at a pass completion to Billy Joe Dupree that will get the first down inside the 20. Andy Hawkins on the tackle, but Danny White throwing well.
Billy Joe Dupree had only had 1 catch before today, and he's got 2 already. There's the starting backfield. It's in there right now.
There are the Dallas receivers, Tony Hill and Drew Pearson, as good a pair as you'll ever find wide, and the tight end who just caught that pass, Billy Joe Dupree.
And the bunch blocking right now extremely well. Donovan, Scott, Fitzgerald, Rafferty, and Cooper.
First down, Dallas at the Tampa Bay 18. No scores yet. 8:34 left first quarter at Texas Stadium. Dorsett juggles, and a penalty marker goes down. He did get possession back, no fumble. He almost did. The entire middle of that Tampa Bay line combined to stop him. But a penalty marker down, and it's going to be against Dallas. The referee is Chuck Heberling.
There's no doubt about the fact they're working on young Logan, the nose man.
That's a tough job. You got three guys who've got immediate shots at you. The center and both guards.
They said it was a dislocated knee that Crowder got and torn.
Holding. Offense. Number 62. First down.
Fitzgerald having a little problem with Logan that time, so he just put the clamps on him.
It's even more difficult if they hold you playing nose guard, isn't it?
You do a lot of yelling.
Sometimes it works. So it'll be 1st and 20. Ball back at the 28-yard line. Danny White. White being chased by Showman and still chased. He throws high in the end zone for Tony Hill. Incomplete. Back with him with Norris Thomas, number 41. I didn't catch who the other Tampa defender was, but he's down in the end zone.
Here's the big pass rush. Selman is chasing. Danny White really was cool on this. He could have given up and decided to run, just feeling the breath on his neck, right? The ball did hang, and Hill almost came up with this. Boy, Mike Washington hit the deck, and also number 41, Norris Thomas. I think he just knocked the breath out of him in the end zone.
That's Washington.
Is that Washington down?
Who's down, I believe.
They both hit almost in tandem. Here's Selman. Run for your life.
Washington, though, now is leaving the field under his own power and appears to be okay. Just knocked the wind out of it when he landed on that artificial turf. Pat Summerall of Tom Brookshire at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. 8:18 left first quarter. Dallas has the football. They've had it ever since the opening kickoff. It'll be 2nd and 20 at the Buccaneer 28. Those of you who've been watching other contests, welcome to Texas Stadium in Dallas, or Irving more correctly, where there's no score between the Buccaneers and the Cowboys. Danny White looking deep as Butch Johnson. Touchdown.
That is Butch Johnson's first catch of the year. He ran a slant in, takeoff, split the two defensive backs. There's the thing that made it go was the jacking the ball a little bit. And Butch knows the end zone line. First catch of the year turns out to be a pretty good effort, doesn't it? A strange-looking shotgun. And this time Danny White goes weak side.
Watch what an effort he makes, Johnson, to keep his feet on the ground before he goes out of the end zone. Good play. Good throw, too, huh?
Some drive.
8:12 left in the first quarter. 6-0 Dallas. Still Septien out of the hole by Charlie Waters, trying to make it 7-0. Tampa Bay hasn't had the football yet. The Cowboys lead the Buccaneers 7-0. Some drive is right. 8:12 left first quarter. It's the Dallas Cowboys 7, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 0. That's Gary Davis down in the left-hand corner of your picture, awaiting what the Buccaneers hope will be their choice to return the kickoff from Raphael Septien, and it looks like it will be Davis. No, it won't be. It's Danny Reese. Davis came over, and Reese puts his way out to about the 25, where the Buccaneers will have their first possession. Let's check some other scores around the league. Final score, the Lions continue unbeaten.
They're nasty, aren't they?
They beat St. Louis 20-7 today. What a job. What a turnaround. Minnesota 34, the Chicago Bears 14. Not such a happy day at Soldier Field. And San Francisco, a final score. The 49ers 3-0 now. The Jets 0-3, 37-27. The Buccaneers in a very unusual looking offensive formation. One sent back is Ricky Bell. Isaac Higgins was in motion. Ricky Bell out for good yardage to the outside, knocked out of bounds by Dennis Thurman.
McKay's team is very, very basic on offense. Here's that basic offense. Ricky Bell, who really plays better at tailback, but Jerry Eckwood's in there now. Doug Williams, the quarterback. We all know how good he's going to be.
The receivers wide, Gordon Jones and Isaac Higgins, and the tight end, one of the very best, in Jimmy Giles.
He is a load. There's the offensive line. Greg Roberts, the big rookie in there in his second year now. They are a large offensive line and very quick.
Kevin House is in the backfield right now. He comes out in motion, leaving Ricky Bell the lone setback, and Bell gets the carry. Bell stumbles around to the outside and picks up as he falls forward about 3 yards. Stopped by Steve Wilson. Let's look at that Dallas defense. It's a lot different from what you're used to.
And Ed Jones, who's been getting a lot of work in the first 2 plays already. Larry Cole, who just plays like the old country farmer, steady every day. Randy White, who's had some problems. His father just passed away last Saturday, and he didn't tell anybody before the Denver game, and he'll be okay. Here are those linebackers. Brunig in the middle. And a secondary that is still shaking. They haven't had a chance to get hit a lot yet.
3 different names from what they finished last year with. Actually 4 because Waters was hurt. Pass intended for number 84, Gordon Jones, just a little bit overthrown. Doug Williams, the Tampa quarterback.
Billy Nelson says the one thing you have to worry about, Doug Williams is a very, very bright young person. He throws the medium range ball better than he does the real long ones. This time he tried to split the zone and might have just thrown it away on purpose, which is not a bad idea once in a while.
Line of scrimmage, the Tampa Bay 38. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Bucs. 7:16 left to play first quarter. 7-0 Dallas.
Boy, they take big splits on the offensive line of scrimmage, don't they?
Split out that defensive front 4 of Dallas.
Oh.
Very effective. This is Jerry Eckwood. And he's close to a Tampa Bay first down. The safety man, Charlie Waters, had to make the tackle.
Larry Cole went down inside for some reason and just got buried. I don't even know if they had to block number 63. There's Billy Nelson, the former quarterback, a great one, who's the quarterback coach. He's sending those plays in. Upstairs, Boyd Dowler. That's Boyd there on the left. He's calling down to his friend Billy Nelson and saying, get a completed pass for my guys, will you?
Eckwood, as we mentioned, very close to a first down. Looks like he might be about 2 feet short. No, not that much.
That was a big hole in the line, though, wasn't it? Two tight ends are going for the short yardage offense.
Obradovich goes in, and he'll join Giles as tight ends on each side.
Good thing about a basic offense, though, very few things can go wrong with the machinery. And if something does, you can correct it by getting bigger, stronger, faster people. He's got a lot of good players in his Tampa team.
Guy Brown comes into the Dallas defense, replacing Mike Hegman. There's Obradovich, the other tight end, another one from Southern California. They need a couple inches. Eckwood and Bell, and Williams, the quarterback, tries to sneak. I don't know if he got it or not. Bob Brunig led the charge.
This was not the best quarterback sneak. Sometimes you got to wait for the charge to come off. Tell you what, Dallas just won the battle on the line of scrimmage. If he made it by the point of the ball, and that's all.
Larry Cole got underneath the blockers. Bob Brunig came over the top.
That's a big quarterback, you know. It's not like Fran Tarkenton running a sneak against you. This guy's 6'4" and a couple of 100 pounds.
As they measure, we'll remind you that this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's first down. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Dallas Cowboys and the National Football League is prohibited.
And that's Tampa football. Billy Nelson sends in the quarterback sneak. Boyd Dowler still talking to his friend on the sidelines.
First down Bucks with 6:30 left first quarter. At their own 48. Higgins goes in motion. Kicks it back to Ricky Bell. Breaks one tackle. Randy White runs him down from behind. Big upset today. Cincinnati beat Pittsburgh 30-28. How'd it happen?
Ian Sunter kicked a 21-yard field goal with 2:25 left in the game, and the Bengals did what everybody thought was impossible, except Cincinnati, evidently.
They beat them last year, you recall.
Right.
Tom Bass in conference with his group on the Tampa Bay sideline. Ian Sunter.
He's from Bavaria.
2nd and 9 for the Buccaneers at their own 49. Doug Williams straight back. Trying to set up the screen. Batted away by Ed Too Tall Jones. This
is the man they have to get a lot of effort from in the line of scrimmage. When he plays the run tough, the Dallas Cowboys are really rugged because that's the strong side of the formation. But the last couple of weeks, some people have blown him off the line of scrimmage, in particular the Denver right tackle.
Pretty tough to throw the ball over his head. That's a final score. Atlanta had been ahead for some time, but they lost to the Miami Dolphins 20-17. Dolphins 2-1, Cleveland 20, Kansas City 13. That's a final. 3rd and 9 at Texas Stadium. And the Buccaneers trail the Cowboys by a touchdown. Still in the first quarter. Williams goes straight back. Protection is good. This is Jerry Eckwood down the sideline. Inside the 20. Eckwood hurdles down to about the 11-yard line.
Whoa.
Dennis Thurman tripped him up.
What a play the offensive center made. Steve Wilson, number 50. The guy out of Georgia weighs about 265. He's one of the biggest centers. He gets out in front of Eckwood and makes the block of a linebacker as the ball is settling in. Almost illegal, but real good. Watch this now. Watch this block by number 50. Now from another view, you'll watch this block right there. It was on Dickerson, the young linebacker who comes down in on the third down plays, and Eckwood just sailed with, a flip at the end of it.
And all the way down to the 11-yard line. On that last leap by Eckwood, it's 1st and 10, Tampa. Williams almost ran into Ricky Bell, and he will run into the end zone for a Tampa touchdown.
Broken play, and everybody sort of staggered for a minute, and Charlie Waters went all the way down trying to react, get back. He's a good runner. He has said he would rather run less. That's just because he's a very intelligent person. I told you, look at this.
This is a mark of a good athlete.
You better believe it. A good sprint to the end zone. I thought these were two great defenses that were going to be tested, huh?
Not too many punts so far. Garo Yepremian. We'll take another look at that touchdown play by Williams after Yepremian ties the score at 7-all.
Now, Giles, the big tight end, was in the end zone. Maybe it was supposed to be a play, but it looks like Eckwood he might have thought he was going to get the ball.
8 plays, 75 yards, 7-7 score. That is James Jones in the insert.
Rookie from Mississippi State, a great-looking runner.
Boy, I'll say.
And he runs back everything.
Yepremian kicks off. Jones scrambling over. Fumbles, picks it up on one good bounce. And is knocked out of bounds at the 15-yard line by Neil Colsey, number 20 for the Buccaneers. Perhaps one he should not have handled.
Really good coverage, too, by Tampa. They were down there in a hurry.
That was Eric Hurt, who was back there with James Jones. It's a pretty good name for a defensive back.
Is Eric Hurt, right?
Does Eric Hurt.
What he does.
First down, Dallas, 7 apiece. 4:33 left first quarter. Texas Stadium. Hot afternoon, but both clubs are used to it. And Dave Logan is the nose guard right in front of Fitzgerald, and that's where they work, and Logan makes a fine play.
Does he ever? Remember now, the 34, the way Tampa plays it, they actually get into gaps, and they play like defensive linemen on any other defense. Sometimes people use the 30 for sort of a scrape defense where the linebacker picks up all the loose change, but that time Logan made the play by himself. Great play.
Watch how close he gets to Fitzgerald, the offensive center, when they come out again.
They get to know each other pretty well over the course of a full season.
They can't be... Look at the two helmets. Danny White, good protection, throws outside of Tony Hill. He has it. Out of bounds in front of the Dallas bench for a first down. And look at that Dallas bench. It is so hot. The entire Dallas team has moved down into the shade as much as they can. And almost nobody standing in the sunshine.
Why doesn't Landry sweat? He doesn't even perspire like normal people, right? Or the average person, I should say.
He's got some kind of coolant in his hat, I think.
I think he's got a compressor in that hat, huh? He takes losses pretty well, though. He doesn't know the alibi, does he?
No, and I've known him a long time. Alibi is not part of his vocabulary. He's a fine man. Pitches back to Dorsett, and Dorsett has nothing, not even back to the line of scrimmage. David Lewis, the linebacker who was shaken up a little bit earlier, is the one who made the tackle.
Like he tied the guy's shoelaces together. It's one of the neatest tackles I've ever seen on Dorsett. It's hard to run when both feet are together.
Billy Nelson over on the Tampa Bay bench.
Well, he had the young quarterbacks in with him for like 6 and 8 week stretches, you know, down in Tampa, working on new sets, new things, new ways to throw. It pays off, doesn't it, later on?
Yeah, they went out and played golf and talked football. 7-7, 3:13 left first quarter. Golf played to Springs. It looks like he's got some room, but a penalty marker is down as Springs gets about 8 or 9.
Butch Johnson, I think, jumped about a half a count. He didn't set before he took off out of that double wing formation.
Norris Thomas made the tackle for Tampa Bay.
Looked like a rolling start. Looked like Canadian football. I know a couple of teams that are watching this with interest today. The New York Giants and the Philadelphia
Eagles. They play, of course, tomorrow night in Philadelphia.
Well, the Eagles will never forgive this Tampa team, right? They looked like they were heading for the big
last year
Super Bowl in the sky.
Illegal motion, offense, number 6, second down.
You're right, it was Butch Johnson. There's the quarterback, Doug Williams, who scored the touchdown. I guess you can hear that whistling in the background.
Hey, he really wears well, though, doesn't he? I was told by Gil Brandt that the Cowboys would have drafted him number 1 had he been available.
Second and 19 as Danny White gets the ball out to Dorsett, and Dorsett, great pursuit by the Tampa defense. Richard Wood and Dave Logan, the first two to arrive there.
Watch Richard Wood come across. A great block, by the way, is by Donovan, who takes Selman inside and then cuts him right there. Look at this. Good job there. And now it looks like Dorsett's going to ramble for a while, doesn't it? Watch out, here comes Wood, and it's over.
Talk about pursuit. That's the way it's done, isn't it?
Especially when they're 240-pounders that can run like that. That's frightening.
It'll be third down and 16 for Dallas. That's the way they've performed so far. Dallas got the ball, drove the length of the field for a touchdown. Tampa got the ball, did the same thing in 8 plays. Now Dallas' second possession. 7 all to score.
Tension doesn't seem to get McKay much, does it?
Here's Danny White, number 11, heading over to talk to Tom Landry and Danny Reeves and Mike Ditka.
Landry's back into the offensive thinking again, is he? For a while, he just took the defense for a while, didn't he?
In training camp, he just worked with the defense, and Dan Reeves called the plays from the sideline. Now, Tom Landry is back calling the plays.
Roger Staubach came by the booth to say hello before the game, and he says, don't worry about me having to come back. Danny White is a superior football player and a great person and a fine quarterback. It's very hard for anybody to argue with something Roger says along those lines.
I believe Tom's got a better telephone this year than he had in the past years, too.
It looks like one of those touch dial things.
Actually, there's nobody on the other end. He's got control of the whole thing. Danny White has the message and heads back to the huddle. Third and 16, 2:15 to go in the first quarter.
He's 7 for 8.
You think that was the message that he gave him? ...
right? Fill in the blanks. I don't care how you do it, get the first down, Mr. White. They're a very good third down conversion team, but this is a lot to try to pick up in one shot, isn't it, against this defense?
Tampa Bay, of course, last year it was the defense that carried them into the NFC Championship game against Los Angeles, with all due respect to their offense.
They only allowed, 14 points a game the whole season last year.
That's right.
That was supposed to be the weak schedule. Now they're in with big bad people a lot.
All right, on third and 16, Tony Hill comes wide to the left, Drew Pearson wide to the right. And Danny White will operate from the shotgun. Newhouse stays back there with him to block. Selman gets away almost. Newhouse trying to get the middle screen and hang on to it. Aaron Brown on the coverage, and he was right there. And Danny White, who's the quarterback, is also the punter.
Oh, he could stay in there, but Leroy Selman that time went right by Donovan. Donovan didn't even get a glove on him. Pretty good time to have the short pass route called. It looked like it should have been completed. Robert hadn't played a lot, though. Newhouse has been watching young Springs do a lot of playing.
So watching Danny White punt in the pregame warm-ups, and he's hitting him better than he ever has, I think.
Through the hole in the roof almost.
The amazing thing was he didn't kick except the last 2 weeks of training camp. It's a fine punt. chased all the way back to his 15. Dallas coverage is there quickly, and there's no place for Danny to go. About the 19 is as much as he can do.
Dallas looks to me like they got their hitting gear on today. Against Denver, they looked a little soft. They had the Monday night game to open the season, mile-high altitude and all that, but today they are stinging people.
56-yard punt by Danny White. First man down there who made Reese deliberate so was number 46, Roland Solomon. And he did a good job in coverage.
Boy, don't ever forget that the Broncos, Denver had Dallas 17-0 before they even got a chance to get back in the contest, into the hunt. And that's been the only way I could ever think of you beat Dallas is get on them early and get a few points when you can before they wake up.
Tom Landry said the problem in Denver was that the Broncos had 1st and 5 too many times. That is a problem.
Turnover time. George Yarno, is that one of the fellows on the coverage team that's down there? I was trying to get his number.
I think that's Norm Wells who's down. It is one of the rookies who made this Dallas team this year. There were 10 altogether. Harvey Martin's always good for a quote.
I'd say is what we have to do is put pressure on him and make him get rid of the ball fast. Harvey Martin, meaning Doug Williams.
That isn't a bad philosophy, really. Tend to win.
It's a good pass defense, especially when you got a young secondary.
1:57 left in the first quarter. Dallas 7, Tampa Bay 7. As Dallas goes into the flex, Isaac Higgins goes into motion. This is Ricky Bell. Wide to the right. Bell breaks out of the clear, still breaks. Being chased by Thurman. And Ricky Bell rips it down inside Dallas territory to the 39, 40-yard line, make it. Dennis Thurman made the tackle.
Boy, this is some run. Now they run back to the weak side. Waters comes up, takes the block, spins back, and Bruni gets cut down by Steve Wilson, the offensive center. A great block by the offensive center sprung Ricky Bell out of there. And Thurman kept coming, or he had a touchdown.
Aaron Mitchell had a crack at him, but Ricky Bell displaying some of the same form that he did last year.
44 yards on 3 carries today.
Tony Davis has replaced Ricky Bell. Eckwood is deep in the eye, and this will be Jerry Eckwood. Eckwood from Arkansas gets about 5. Bob Brunig, the middle linebacker, on the tackle, but the Buccaneers have got the running attack rolling.
Once they get it rolling like that, again, it's so basic, they just toss it sometimes back to the tailback in the eye. Last year, that was Ricky Bell, and a super guy to give it to when he has the long run at the line of scrimmage. And the old I formation from USC right into Tampa.
There are 12 new players on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers squad, and that's an awful lot for a championship club, or a club that got to the championship game last year. Doug Williams straight back, looking deep, has Jimmy Giles as tight end for a Buccaneer first down at the 28.
Oh, that was some throw, because Waters had the tight end Giles all the way, has him from the inside. Let's see if we can pick it up to the lower left part of the screen. 88 is a big one. You won't have any trouble seeing it. The throw, though, is right on the money. And I'm telling you, Waters was with him all the way from the line of scrimmage back.
Ricky Bell checks back in now, as Doug Williams looks very confident.
He's 2 for 4.
That'll be the end of the first quarter. And so at the end of one, the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are tied at 7 apiece. One quarter is gone, and it's 7-7. Got Summerall with Tom Brookshire at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. The Buccaneers on the move again at the Dallas 24, 1st and 10. Doug Williams puts Kevin House in motion and gives it in to Ricky Bell, who gets about 3. Down near the Dallas 20. Let's run down some of the rest of the scores from around the rest of the NFL. The Rams on the track against the Packers, 17-0. San Diego and Denver, that ought to be some football game. 3-3 first quarter.
They're still in the air and still can't score. You know that's a good game.
New England, Seattle also tied at a field goal apiece.
Looks like Doug's going to have to load it up now.
At the 21-yard line, the line of scrimmage.
Got a rookie left cornerback. Wilson hasn't played there much before.
And Williams gets to Eckwood. And Eckwood, with those quick feet, gets down close to a first down for Tampa, just outside the 15.
The Arkansas Traveler, huh? He was really rolling one year until he got the fractures, remember?
Last year.
Yep. Good block on Brunig by the big offensive tackle. That's Charlie Hanna. John Hanna's little brother. He only weighs 265.
By the way, Ray Snell started at left guard instead of Gene Sanders today for the Buccaneers, so it'll be third down and about 2. This is Eckwood again. He struggles to get inside the 15-yard line and is very near a first down. Bob Brunig, Garo Yepremian, and Bill Nelson, and John McKay, of course, in the hat and glasses.
It's a good thing that Brunig made that tackle because Roberts was out in front and he'd kicked the cornerback almost out of the ballpark. Yepremian. Ooh. Must have gotten hit on that last kickoff.
They went from the tallest place kicker in the NFL to the shortest. From O'Donohue to Yepremian.
Tell you, Garo was a solid little guy from 35 yards in, though, isn't he?
I'll say. None better, the best ever in the history of the league. That's solid.
The outside receivers come in with the play.
87, Larry Mucker checks in. And so it's fourth down. And not 1 yard, I should say, about 1 foot.
Last time Doug tried to get it himself on the quarterback sneak.
And just barely made it. Clock begins to go again at 13:30 left before the half. 7-7 score, but the Buccaneers are banging at the door. Williams got the first down.
That is a very large offensive line. McKay would like to have them as far back in the backfield. He's always thought that the blockers should be off the line of scrimmage, but this time they hunched up there and really steal it. A big center. There's nothing like having a center that's broad and thick at 265, huh?
That was more like a quarterback launch instead of a quarterback sneak. John McKay. He wouldn't be so emotional. It's the first down, Tampa Bay. Ball at the 13-yard line of Dallas. 7-7 at the moment. Williams slow getting away from center, but not slow in moving. Down to about the 2. Fumble, and Tampa gets it back. About 3 players had tracks at it, but Steve Wilson, the offensive center, came up with it.
Now remember, Steve Wilson didn't know there was going to be a fumble. He is just downfield to try to block into the end zone when he sees this quarterback running. It's dangerous. Doug took off, coughed it up. Watch number 50. There it is, with air out of it.
I could snap it, but I haven't had to pick it up too many times. But he certainly did the right thing then. Did you see the block they put on Randy White then? Triple team.
Triple team. Good way to try to keep number 54 so you can always see him.
You mentioned how big this offensive line is. It is mountainous. They average close to 270. Ricky Bell to the outside. He won't make it. Knocked out of bounds by Brunig. He was hit first by Charlie Waters, who couldn't bring him down, and Brunig knocked him out of bounds.
Now, Charlie Waters is playing with a new brace on his left knee. He had the knee surgery, and it came out fine, but until you really get that thing wrapped around your head and start running on it again, at least that's what Bill Berge said, you don't believe it's as good. And he's got a brace much like Joe Namath had out of New York.
As a matter of fact, he went to New York this week to have it fitted.
Dr. Nicholas, was it?
I believe so. I'm not sure about that.
Made a good play.
Third down, short yardage. Eckwood is hit down quickly. He got inside the 5, but not enough, I don't believe, for a first down. Anthony Dickerson was the first man to hit him.
Charlie Waters was on the bottom of the pile, too. Tried to go airborne, and they stuck him so hard in the ribs, couldn't get off the ground.
They're motioning. They have almost a yard to go, and here comes Yepremian. And for him, this is almost automatic.
He only needs 8 points now, Pat, to go into that magic 1,000-point score. He's got 992.
Well, he's got 993 now with that extra point he got today.
That's right.
Tom Blanchard is the holder. Ypremian hits, and the Buccaneers assume the lead. It's 10-7. Ypremian from 22 yards out puts Tampa Bay ahead of Dallas 10-7 with 11:25 left to play in the first half. Ypremian, who just kicked that field goal, teeing it up to kick off now. Eric Hurt and James Jones have swapped positions back deep for Dallas, so that Hurt is in the middle and Jones is over on the right side. It's the direction in which Ypremian kicks it to the 4, and this is Eric Hurt, who is tripped up by Tony Davis.
The former Nebraska running back we saw in, what, the Fiesta Bowl about 5 or 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Good-looking drive.
11 plays, 74 yards, 22-yard field goal by Garo Ypremian. They kept it 5 minutes, 27 seconds.
The one thing Ermal Allen had said before the game, he does a scouting report on Tom Landry's show. He said that they wanted to contain the quarterback and not let him run, but this time he went up the middle on him, and you can't really defense against that, can you?
He as much as said that's the key to defeating Tampa Bay. You got to beat the defense, of course, but you have to contain Doug Williams. Here's Dorsett. As the penalty marker goes down. Dorsett stayed on his feet, went out of bounds on the Dallas sideline, knocked out by Danny Reese.
The flag is not near the line of scrimmage. It's actually in the intermediate area of the linebackers. A good block on the outside by Robert Newhouse. By the way, Ron Springs has a twisted ankle and may or may not return, but Newhouse got a good block on it.
Danny White taking the place of one of the greats in the history of this game, Roger Staubach. Big shoes to fill, but he's capable. Roger says so, and I believe it.
Offense 9. First down.
Must be Billy Joe Dupree, the tight end, that seems like the first digit's being lost on the official's microphone.
I believe he did say number 89. And I hope we don't do Billy Joe injustice by saying, but he's the only one that's got a 9 on the end of his number, so it's got to be.
They've been running at Leroy Selman a little bit today. Sometimes that's good to keep the big guy home, you know.
First and 20 from the 12, the Cowboys will operate. Tony Hill in motion. Danny White drops and throws for Duke Pearson. Had a linebacker dropping. He had to get the ball over. Number 57, David Lewis, and couldn't quite get it down soon enough.
Lewis had taken the walk-away zone completely away, and he's 6 foot 4.5 inches tall, and even Danny White couldn't thread it, couldn't get it over the big linebacker and down in time. It sailed.
New Orleans 19, Buffalo defeating them 28-19 in the fourth quarter. Houston 21, Baltimore 9 in the third quarter. 3 wide receivers in the game, Fritz Johnson as well as the regular 2 of Tony Hill. But they run a draw play on second down and got some yardage, not nearly enough to satisfy.
I bet Dorsett was shaking his head mentally when they called that number. That group of assassins down there, when they get you hemmed in and those big linebackers beat on you, even if you're the great athlete that he is, that hurts. You got to be able to really take it.
Tampa Bay beat Cincinnati in the rain, 17-12 on opening Sunday. And then on Thursday night of last week, beat the Los Angeles Rams 10-9.
Good defense, huh?
Look back at their success against Los Angeles.
Little mix-up on the Dallas sideline, Pat. Now Newhouse comes back out.
And Dallas has to call a timeout. And the crowd is not too happy about this situation. They have only 1 left to work with in the first half. So with 10:22 left in the second period, Buccaneers 10, Cowboys 7. The Cowboys have used up all but 1 of their timeouts here in the first half. It's 3rd and 16. The ball at the 16. That's the book on Danny White so far. The fact that they're trailing does not point a finger at him. It's 10-7 Buccaneers. They go from the shotgun. He looks looks comfortable back there.
It's overload right, too. See if he goes away from it again and goes back to the left side.
Got great protection. He's got Billy Joe Dupree just over his head. Just barely over his head. Billy Joe had a step or two.
That might be one of the longest patterns I've ever seen B.J. run. I mean, he runs that 45-yard center pattern. Looked like Danny did read the coverage and thought the off safety man couldn't get back, but he was there.
That was Mark Cotney who came back to break it up.
He's a belligerent, too.
Yeah, he'll sting you a little bit.
Put some stars upstairs.
Danny White standing at the goal line now. Danny Reese back deep for Tampa. No rush. White didn't quite catch this one as well as he did the previous ones, and it bounces back, way back into Dallas territory, finally knocked down by Rafferty, who snapped the ball and took it out of bounds, but a bad bounce for White. His first punt had gone 56 yards. That one won't get the job done. Not nearly so well as the Buccaneers operate in good field position. They'll take over with 10:05 left in the second quarter. Sold out Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 10, Dallas Cowboys 7.
Don't forget that young secondary. A lot of young people over there for Dallas.
Kevin House comes out wide to the left. Gordon Jones out there with him, too. House goes in motion. Pitch back to Bell. Ricky Bell.
Oh, what a defensive play by D.D. Lewis and Aaron Mitchell. D.D. Lewis got hit in the back, spun, held the line of scrimmage, and Aaron Mitchell loves to hit people. Practice for fun. Sunday afternoon, Monday night, he's just a hitter.
Let's check out some other scores. The Packers have got on the scoreboard, but so has Los Angeles again. That's 24-7. Seattle surprisingly leading New England 10-3, second quarter. Here it's also second quarter, 2nd and 7. At the Dallas 38 for Tampa Bay. Cowboys have made some defensive changes, and Doug Williams goes down. John Dutton is in the game, and so is Larry Bethea.
All right.
Those are the two that led the charge.
And good coverage downfield. The big guys were fighting for the sack. Here's Wilson, a young left cornerback. I told you they're inexperienced, but boy, they are hanging together. It's a fly. It's a 9 pattern. He's out of bounds, so he's illegal anyway. But when you're a young guy playing left corner for the first time, you hope they all are out of bounds.
First sack of the day on Williams, make it 3rd and 18. John Dutton, as mentioned, into the contest, and so is Larry Bethea. They're on the left side of the defensive line with too tall Jones. Jimmy Giles, a dangerous tight end, still on his feet to the 15. Charlie Waters made the tackle, but Williams threaded it.
Boyd Dowler has worked with some great tight ends. Charlie Young, he helped Charlie Young. He worked with Keith Krepley. But he says this guy is so strong, and he works like all tight ends do hard. He can do it all. But he is a big, strong football player. By the way, I think he played high school ball with Wilbert Montgomery.
Whoever beat that team?
Coach should be investigated if he lost a game with those two.
Giles, of course, hasn't been playing football that long. He's a baseball enthusiast. There's Boyd Dowler on the left-hand side of your picture. He, of course, in the heyday of the Packers, one of the really outstanding wide receivers. I believe Eckwood, Ricky Bell, I'm sorry, straight ahead.
I have seen some shots delivered on the line of scrimmage that I haven't seen in a long time by both teams. That time, Harvey Martin, somebody hit him a shot, and Harvey's whole body sort of trembled. There is some knocking going on.
At number 72 is the new left guard, Ray Snell, for the Buccaneers. Bell and Eckwood, 2nd and 7 for the Buccaneers. At the 12, Williams with good protection throws and overthrows. Penalty marker goes down. Steve Wilson, the defender, looked like he might have grabbed him.
And I think he might have gotten a little cloth, but I don't know if that's illegal or not. Again, we're talking about a young man playing left corner for his first season. He was always a run-back man last year. Barely made the team. Might have had the shirt a little bit. The yellow flag hits. And, boy, that's a tough place to be. You're all by yourself out there.
They're going to call it against Tampa Bay. It was Kevin House. Maybe he pushed off on Wilson.
All right. Finally, somebody stands up for the defense.
You've been doing that for years.
Yes,
what do you
it's a post-corner route. Giles has cleared out and gone straight up. He must have pushed off at that moment of truth.
Well, that looks like something around the maypole there.
Pretty good throw. Ball was right there, wasn't it?
See if we can pick it up.
Pass interference. Offense, number 89. Second down.
So he must have pushed off.
Kevin House, he's the young rookie that they think so highly of, huh?
Think about Wilson. He was playing offense last year. He's a wide receiver. His father could play a little bit, could he?
Tommy Wilson with the Rams.
Second 17 for the Buccaneers. Edgewood straight ahead on a delayed draw. At 4-5.
The handoff went to Jerry Edgewood.
Bill Rowe was in there, or Guy Brown. They really recovered and made a super tackle in the middle there. You know, Bell is not a small running back. 217, 18 pounds. I still think he likes to play tailback more than he does to be up close to the line of scrimmage.
He's
at
much
full.
more effective when he has a couple of extra yards to look, see things develop in front of him. Third and 13, 6:45 left. Gary Davis has entered the lineup for the Buccaneers. Williams at all kinds of time had a man open. It was Gary Davis who couldn't hang on, number 28, and he had some room. If he could have found the handle, it might have been another touchdown.
Well, Doug Williams will really stand in the pocket, though. Don't tell me this fellow's gun shy. Watch this. Stand tall. He can look over and see the things. That ball is right there. That's a catchable ball.
It was Dexter Clinkscale in the coverage.
Glad you tried that one for the first time.
Here is Epremian in with his holder, Tom Blanchard. It'll be a 35-yard effort this time, and he could certainly reach it from here, too. Epremian is wide to the left. Rare does he miss to the left side. Usually he hooks him right if he misses. Blanchard, the holder, and the score remains 10-7 as the Cowboys will take over at the 20. First and 10 Dallas at their own 20. Tampa Bay Buccaneers leading the Cowboys 10-7.
Everybody breathed a big sigh on that. Well, in the whole stadium, in the whole state of Texas, I guess.
Gets back to Dorsett. Dorsett cuts back against the grain to the other side of the field, and after all the cutting and jumping, he got just a few. Cecil Johnson made the tackle, number 56.
Good tackle, wasn't it? It's the way you would like to instruct people. Hit him at the knees, follow through with it. Tough open field tackle on that little wart, you know. He can move.
10-10, New England, Seattle. One of the outstanding individuals involved in pro football is the man who owns the Buccaneers, Hugh Culverhouse. I assume he's looking on. All I can say is we wish him the very, very best. A lot of time for White. He has Jay Saldi. And Saldi struggles out to about the 28-yard line. Cecil Johnson again, the tackler.
Danny White wanted to hit Drew Pearson, who cleared across the middle, and Drew finally hooked up and was wide open, but by that time he had already unloaded it in the flat.
This is a final score. Buffalo wins its third straight, 35-26 over New Orleans.
Chuck Knox is building a pretty good football team up there.
And there's some trouble in the Crescent City.
I would say.
It'll be third down at 2, 5:12 remaining. Now make it 5, just about 5 minutes left first half before they get this one underway. Danny White, the quarterback, was Dorsett, the long set. Looks for Dorsett, looks for somebody else, anybody. Drew Pearson went on his knees and couldn't find the handle.
Oh.
That is rare.
And each quarterback is having trouble getting the ball caught by his receivers. Danny White stands pretty tall. Now he gets some pressure from the linebacker from the right. Let's see who comes storming in. He sort of makes the move here.
That's Dave Stahl.
Dave Stahl's the former Cowboy himself. Now he's got a little bit of time to pick out one. Throws a low strike. And I think Drew thought this might have been an easier catch than it turned out to be. Does the bent leg slide and then lets it bounce off a thigh guard on him.
He had a chance to make that catch. Andy White averaging 40.5 yards today, 45 on the year. And a good high kick, but a penalty marker is down. So we'll wait. Danny Reese makes the catch and is thundered out. Richard Solomon was the first Cowboy down, but there's a penalty marker down as well.
Probably going to bring it back. Illegal man downfield too early on the outside. You know who's going to be a full-time coach this season in particular is Mr. Stallings, right, that handles the defensive secondary. You've got all young people back there. You really have to do a job every day and try to tell those young men what they're going to experience, and you can't learn it any other way except having it happen to you.
Illegal motion, offense, number 40, refused.
Penalty refused, first down Buccaneers. Last year their secondary was Aaron Kyle and Benny Barnes, the cornerbacks, Cliff Harris, and sometimes Randy Hughes and sometimes Dennis Thurman, the safety men. So the whole picture has changed.
Kyle went down with bone spurs. Barnes went down
appendicitis
right before opening game, wasn't it?
Right before the Washington game. Randy Hughes out with a separated shoulder. So it's a rebuilding job that's being done mid-season. First down Buccaneers at their own 34. Williams goes right to work. Chased down by Harvey Martin, throws the ball at the last minute. Harvey Martin being congratulated by Bruce Thornton, who's joined the Dallas rush group at the moment, number 77. Here's the heat from Harvey.
Watch the left side of your screen there. Should be Revis that does the blocking on him, number 75. Harvey just took the inside gamble and got it. A little bit late.
It'll be 2nd and 19. The clock still running with 4.5 minutes left in the first half. Tampa Bay leading the Dallas Cowboys 10-7. The quarterback. He scored the Buccaneers touchdown. Gets back to Terry Eckwood, who's had a good game. And Eckwood taken down by Aaron Mitchell.
Boy, Eckwood is really quick. Took it up inside, bounced outside. Well, we told you that Aaron Mitchell, maybe to a fault, likes to really hit people. That time he got a good shot at number 43.
A flock of substitutes in for Dallas on what they figure is a sure passing situation. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Buccaneers here run a draw play and play it safe. They have such great faith in that defense.
Dallas has that young linebacker, Anthony Dickerson, number 51 in there, who can really run.
They need 13. Isaac Higgins has the catch and has the first down. He's inbounds. It's a good catch.
They've got to give young Wilson some help out at that corner. He is facing good speed. That time, Harvey Martin almost had Doug Williams before he threw it. That time, 81 just broke it straight out. No fake or anything. And sometimes no fake is really tough to cover.
That's good effort by Higgins to get both feet down, too. First down, Tampa Bay, 3:29 left first half.
You know, you're looking for a double wrinkle, and you're inexperienced anyway, and nothing comes but a straight cut.
Buccaneers. Gene Sanders back to take his place at the moment in the offensive line for Tampa Bay, and he's out in front of Eckwood. Eckwood looked like he might really break something and didn't. Mike Heckman on the tackle for Dallas. He was the first one there. Charlie Waters helped out.
Caution, Tampa now has picked up third down conversions 5 of 7 times. The one thing the Cowboys used to live on is we love to get you in third down because you're not going to convert very often. They were the best at it a year ago.
It'll be 2nd and 9 coming up. 4 out of 7 for Williams. A couple of big ones to Giles. Chuck Fusina looking on.
Happy Valley, Penn Stater.
Williams straight back again. Now he rolls out. Throws deep intended for Giles. Giles makes the catch and has a touchdown. Jimmy Giles, that remarkable tight end, comes down with the football and scores. Charlie Waters Giles and Dennis Thurman both were back there with him, but he's just too big and too strong.
He is 6'3", about 242 pounds. That is his third touchdown catch of the season. This ball is thrown under a lot of pressure. They're putting some pressure on. Here comes Dutton. Oh, I'll tell you, Doug Williams stayed in there and squeezed it off. That's a great effort. Look at this play. He is just a load. Waters and Thurman on the ground.
That's just individual athletic ability on the part of both Doug Williams and Jimmy Giles. He has 3 catches for 44 yards and 1 touchdown. That one alone was 49. 94 yards to make the total. After adding that one, as Doug Williams looks very impressive.
That's part of the Houston trade. That when Earl Campbell went to Houston, and the trade brought not only Williams, the young quarterback, but also a tight end named Giles. Now, you can't ask for a better package than that, can you?
There is Jimmy Giles. It's one of those things that worked out well for both teams. I don't think that Houston would regret having Earl Campbell at all.
No, I think that's what McKay said at the time. I think it helped both clubs. We needed, and these days, if you don't have the tight end that can split defenses and make them stretch zones, it's just very hard to move the ball on offense.
There's the other half of that trade that Tom Brookshire was just talking about, Doug Williams.
Boy, he's a nice guy. You know that? I really like this young man.
One of many who have moved to the Tampa Bay area and stay there in the offseason full time. Some 30 players, I think, have done that now. I don't care what you say.
He's got to have orange cars and everything down there, doesn't
That helps a little.
Look at this.
John McKay.
Just another day at the office.
Somebody sent him a bunch of bananas because he said some people don't know a banana from a football. So he said the next time I'm going to ask for a car. See what happens.
Nothing's happened yet, he said.
James Jones almost broke out of the pack. Out to just short of the 30-yard line is Jones. Bill Nelson, who's conveying the play message from Boyd Dowler. He should be happy, but he doesn't look all that happy, does he?
Well, he was talking about Doug Williams. He said, you realize he could see everything. When I was a quarterback, he said, I was ducking under armpits about half of my career and throwing on the run, you know. Doug can stand right up, look over. Look how much taller he is than Billy there.
Billy Nelson didn't have that strong an arm, but he sure knew how to get the job done.
He got a big heart, too, didn't he?
Yes, sir. Danny White now facing a 10-point deficit. Throws outside and has Tony Hill. Penalty marker goes down as Mike Washington might have been a little too enthusiastic.
Well, my gosh, can't you tackle receivers anymore? Mike Washington is a real hitter playing the corner. Bear Bryant's the Alabama fella, right? Now watch this. Tony Hill has it. He might have gone through the face. You can't go up through the face, though, and try to strangle people. That must be the call.
Not what you'd really call your most enthusiastic, happy face, is it?
But they're all pretty, aren't they?
Of course, they're 10 points behind. 2:24 left in the first half with the Buccaneers leading Dallas 17-7.
It's a close call, though. You know that? It's really a borderline call here.
Unnecessary roughness on a tackle, number 40.
He sounded like he believed what he called.
Well, no, if you can't tackle people that are catching the ball, it's going to look like soccer.
Yeah, but they got sidelines over there. You know, you're supposed to stop sometime.
You have a point.
First and 10, 2:24 left in the first half. Ball at the 42 of the Buccaneers. Dorsett moves deep. Drew Pearson comes in motion. Pitches back to Dorsett. Now back in the hands of Danny White. He's looking for Tony Hill. Almost. Penalty marker down. Penalty marker down close to the Buccaneers goal line. Danny Reese.
Well, I think there might have been some contact, but I'll say this, they were both looking for the football. It was inadvertent. Here's the flea flicker. The throw, probably not catchable. Here's where they collided right there.
It's against Dallas.
And it was Curtis Jordan that was run into by the receiver.
The call. And Tony Hill back with one of the officials really complaining. There was some contact, no question about it.
But if both are making a legitimate effort to get the football and not bump,
Pass interference, offense, number 80, first time.
Let's look at it again.
lower part of your screen, right there. That's a tough call, too.
That's a lot of ball handling to wind up with a penalty.
That's right. Looked like the Globetrotters getting it off, one of the great plays, and here it is with a penalty hack going through.
2:16 left in the first half. That was the situation. Here's White out of the shotgun now. Protection is adequate. Jay Saldi makes the catch. It'll be a Dallas first down. He just ducked under Danny Reese and saved his health.
Good looking throw by Danny White. Man, he really put something in the breach that time.
That'll be 2 minutes remaining in the first half. It's Tampa Bay 17, Dallas 7. 2 minutes remaining, 17-7. The Buccaneers over Dallas. Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire.
Jay Saldi was wide open down the middle. All he did was come out of the shotgun, turn inside on a little 6 under route. And I wonder if maybe Danny White and the Cowboy brass have decided they can work the inside in there. Maybe everybody's outside conscious a lot and going to do some work in there.
Seems like throughout the league, the tight ends are getting more and more activity. And it's hard to play these days if you don't have a very effective tight end. Both these clubs do. Here's White from the shotgun. Tampa in a blitz. He throws it high for Drew Pearson. And throws it over his head. Norris Thomas back there with Drew.
Wow, Norris Thomas got away with really getting a pretty good illegal shove on. You can't drop the yellow flag all day. I think we'd be in Pitt Stadium seeing all those yellow flags flying around.
Look at Drew Pearson's statistics this year. He's only caught 3 passes in the first 2 games. It seemed that in the clutch, Roger Staubach would always look for Drew. It seems that in the clutch, Danny White always looks for Tony Hill. Not always, but most of the time.
And Drew Pearson runs a true pattern. I'm surprised at that a little bit.
Well, Hill and Pearson are both on the same side now. Timmy Newsome is in the game for Dallas, another one of those rookies. White throws. This time it's Hill. And Tony tried to scramble around and stay on his feet. He is near a first down. Clock still running. 1:45 left. Dallas down to 1 timeout. They had to burn a couple earlier.
They could call for a measurement here and get one. Good throw by Danny. Looked like Tony had it once and then sort of gave some of it up when he was spun around.
They line up quickly and go from the shotgun again. Dorsett turns around as White had the ball behind him just a little bit. 1:29 and the clock is stopped now in the closing minute 29 of the first half.
Dorsett had to turn around for it, and I'm not so sure why. Unless he was maybe cutting the pattern a little short, Pat. Made it a very difficult throw, I think, for White.
Just watched John Fitzgerald, the offensive center, limp off to the side and over being looked at by the Dallas doctors at the moment. And Robert Shaw has taken his place. And I remember up in Minnesota when Fitzgerald had to leave and Shaw had to come in and snap for the shotgun. You remember that? It went about 10 yards over Staubach's head.
Shaw, they say, has gained about 20 pounds, too. He's 260 now.
Wonder if that'll help the snapping. White dropped the ball, throws finally. Basaldi got it. And he got them both down. It is a catch. Boy, that's some effort by Danny White.
Good play by Jay Saldi, too, huh? Watch this now. The first snap, as Pat said, was mishandled. Then he threw that in a hurry, though. He got that loaded and off in about 2/10 of a second. Watch this.
Going backwards, falling back.
Against a safety blitz.
Shades of Van Brocklin. He could do that better than anybody I ever saw. Throw going backwards. I don't know about his feet. Close. Nevertheless, it's 1st and 10 with 1:24 left. The ball at the 10. Timmy Newsome and Tony Dorsett, the 2 setbacks. Danny White, again looking someplace to go, throws high in the end zone. Pearson can't hang on. He tried a one-hander. He wouldn't have been in bounds anyway. He would have been out of the end zone.
Really good coverage by Tampa that time. When you get that close, you're in really logically a man-to-man type operation. They've got good people back in the secondary. Then he just hangs this one up. Springs looked like he might have been open in the flat, but it always looks that way when the play's over.
See, he would have been out of the end zone. Curtis Jordan was the defender for Tampa. 1:17 left to go. It'll be 2nd and 10 at the 10. They can't make a first down without scoring. Dorsett is the lone setback. Danny White drops, looks, ball slipped out of his hands, and the throw was very ineffective. A penalty marker is down.
Might be offensive holding. I saw two people. Now watch the right part of your screen. You'll see the double as Scott and Donovan work on Leroy Selman. And they're having a heck of a time with him as a team. The ball was a little bit of a quack, wasn't it?
Like somebody shot it halfway there, too.
You can double by either keeping a back in or sliding the guard over with the tackle. This time the Cowboys slid Scott over with Donovan, and neither one of them did a very good job.
They'll bring it back to the 20. 17-7, Tampa Bay over Dallas.
Holding. Offense, number 61. Second. Holding. Offense.
That's
Holding.
the right tackle, Jim Cooper.
Right. So it'll be 2nd and 20. Raphael Septien, of course, is the Dallas kicker. And a good one. Now from the shotgun, watch Shaw, the offensive center. Good snap. Good protection. Dorsett with some blockers in front. Dorsett cuts back. He's down inside the 10 to the 9. Danny Reese made the stop. Dallas in a hurry-up effect to get their offense back moving.
3 blockers.
Let's see if they call a timeout. Yes, they will. That's their last one.
3 blockers out in front. Looks like the play's going to go to pay dirt, doesn't it? But somehow the Tampa Bay linebackers came back, and it was like 3 against 3. Watch this wedge meet another wedge coming in. And however in the heck they distributed everybody around and then hustle. Look at the gang tackling. How many orange shirts you see in that picture? About 6?
While we have a second, the word on John Fitzgerald, by the way, is that he has a sprained ankle. Don't know if he'll be back or not. Don't know how bad it is yet. We'll let you know as soon as we do.
This is the healthiest Fitzgerald's been in years, too, isn't it? He plays hurt a lot, you know, so you never have him as a probable. He's always a for sure, but when he limps off, you know he's hurt.
He has an annual bad back.
He annually has nice Irish kids, too. He's always having another little fella, right?
It'll be third down and 9 with 51 seconds left in the first half. The Buccaneers up by 10 points, 17-7. Curtis Jordan looking on from the heat of Texas Stadium. Don't forget the NFL today, when you can look on with Brent and Irv and our scores from around the league.
Very important series right here the next few seconds for the Cowboys. They've got to get something. Obviously, they would rather get the notch, not just that field goal, but you'll settle for anything right now to get some steam before you go in there and get yelled at.
You think Landry yells at the half?
I have a feeling there's a little yelling going on in different rooms. They break up into units.
I know that Mike Ditka would be inclined to yell a little
How
bit.
about Stautner? How'd you like to have him mad at you?
No, I wouldn't like that at all. 3rd and 9. They've got to get into the end zone. Can't make a first. Billy Joe Dupree, touchdown. He had it. The ball popped loose, but he had it when he hit the ground. Billy Joe, touchdown.
Here he is. He's played in 63 consecutive games out of Michigan State. A lot of people always thought he was tremendously limited, but he gives you an honest day's work. Good blocker, good hands. And obviously, he likes to score touchdowns. That's number 1 for him this year, isn't it?
It is 17-13 now. The Buccaneers leading the Cowboys. Raphael Septien with Charlie Waters holding. Tom Rafferty snapping. Septien successful. That makes makes it 17. Tampa, 14 Dallas. Good first half.
Really changes your entire picture for the second half. Now you stay with your game plan instead of saying, oh gosh, let's junk it and start over. You know what I mean? Sometimes that happens at half.
With 46 seconds left to play, Tampa Bay has all of their timeouts remaining, all 3. So a lot of things can happen in that limited amount of time. With your timeouts to work with, Doug Williams and company can get a lot done.
Well, I'm really impressed with the poise of the 2 young quarterbacks we're watching, though. You know, Danny White and Doug Williams both have been under extreme heat several times that have made just tremendously outstanding plays. NFC looks like they're beginning to get back into the football picture with gusto. Is that a good way to say it? I think they've got some good teams in this division.
It's a word that I'm familiar with.
I thought you'd recognize that one.
17-14. Gary Davis back deep for the Buccaneers. Good kick from Septien. Chases Davis way back deep in the end zone. That's where he'll stay. They'll bring it out to the 20. Pretty good route. Oh, and about 72 yards in the air.
Well, we've had a lot of close calls just in this first half, haven't we? Was Salty in or out? Was it interference on Hill, or was he sort of kept away from the ball? You can't tackle a receiver on the sidelines anymore. I've learned a lot this first half.
Well, we're used to close calls.
That's right. Been 3rd and 25 my whole life.
Yeah, but you always made a first down. At the 20, Doug Williams has the one lone set back Ricky Bell. And Bell gets the carry and gets good yardage. Big Ricky outside the 30 to about the 31. Anthony Dickerson made the tackle.
Dallas in that prevent of theirs, they line up with a 3-man rush, and you know, when you're a Harvey Martin, you've been lining up on the weak side of a 4-man flex defense. Perhaps you take the outside too much and you don't take the run seriously at this stage, and that time they just popped it right through there.
Doug Williams called a timeout after that run by Bell, which was enough for a first down. 11-yard gain, bringing it out to the 31. And Doug Williams over talking with Bill Nelson and John McKay.
Realize that McKay took USC to a national championship in 3 seasons, and he took them to a conference championship and playoff in 4 seasons. The guy has got to be a bona fide, you know it. He's a real winner. Anytime you can take over programs and aim them in the right direction and make it in short order, I think you're doing the job.
Well, he had aimed, as most people do when you start a new franchise, to be successful by the 5th year. He just got a year ahead of things.
Of course, when his team met the Eagles last year, it was UCLA East against USC South. Vermeil, of course, being from UCLA.
Kevin House went in motion to the right. The throw is out to Jerry Eckwood. And Eckwood, oh, it's Ricky Bell, I'm sorry. Bell out of bounds.
That's not an illegal tackle that way, huh?
Quick scale knocked him out of bounds.
It was 5 yards over the white restraining line.
The Buccaneers agree with you. The officials don't.
I call this a good tackle. And obviously the official agreed. He let it go. Ricky Bell stopping the clock, out of bounds. He's disrobed.
Quick scale was the man who knocked him out of bounds and stayed with him out of bounds. Kevin House swings out wide to the right. Doug Williams comes straight back. Got his backup tight end, Obradovich, and Obradovich outside the 40. It'll be enough for another Buccaneer first down.
And already Doug was right up in the official's face calling that timeout very quickly. Sometimes you're a quarterback, you watch the pass and catch and you don't think about it, but he was right there. They put 3 blockers that time on Randy White and barely kept him near the line of scrimmage.
26 seconds left in the first half. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 17, the Dallas Cowboys 14. Been a good first half. We'll bring you up to date of all the scores around the league and the rest of the highlights at the halftime. And then another big second half cooking for you here at Texas Stadium.
He's allowed to audibilize a little bit. Billy Nelson said they give him a few plays so he can get out there, and if he really spots something, he can check to it. He's very good at it. He doesn't overuse it or abuse it, as a coach would say, I guess. But I'll tell you, for a very basic-looking offense, they look like they're going to try to put a lot of points on today, don't they?
Situation, Dallas has used all of their timeouts. Tampa Bay has one left now. It is 1st and 10 at the Buccaneer 42, their own. They lead by 3. Field goal by Premium the difference as Doug Williams drops back. Good protection. Now he ducks under and throws. Pass is caught by Giles. What a catch.
What a throw. Doug Williams was in the revolving door, and I don't know how he spun around and got it off. Dangerous throw. Not if you complete it. Was this complete? We'll see. Watch this, the spin around now. Martin spun him around.
Hard to tell if that ball hit the ground or not.
Well, let's see it one more time. You want to see it again?
They have ruled it a catch. And I guess they're right.
Looked like he trapped that one, huh? Good effort. You know, the receiver always says he caught it, though. You know that? Even in baseball, when the baseball comes up with grass stains on it, they say, I caught it clean, you know? Here it is. You can just see the ball bouncing off the turf. Pretty clever job.
Well, if you're a really good athlete like Giles, you put your body in between yourself and the official so he can't make a call like that. I'm sure that was all intentional, aren't you?
Yes.
First down, Buccaneers in Dallas territory at the 47. They lead by 3.
Garrow's range, Patrick, what would it be? 40 in?
I'd say 45 in now.
So we're still a long way from
yes.
The left foot.
He was kicking about 47 and just clearing the bar in warm-ups. He's 1 for 2 today, by the way.
He didn't like you staring at him. Did you notice that? He was looking over at you and then he would practice.
I finally just walked away. I felt guilty. Harvey Martin with the rush, and Doug Williams steps up and in. It's going to be bounced around and dropped. That could be dangerous sometime. There were a lot of Tampa Bay Buccaneers standing close by.
That's one of the problems that they've had. There has been absolutely no effort to, well, there's been effort, but no turnovers. That the Dallas defense, even last season, they were, I think, last in the league in taking the ball away from other people.
It was Eric Hurt, the rookie, who was back there.
Pretty hurt for the defensive work on the last play.
You can see Obradovich and Giles both in the game. Giles just now getting back to the huddle. In comes Gordon Jones. Out comes Larry Mucker. Jones probably brought the play in, although Williams stopped by the Buccaneer bench on the way back to the huddle. See what they wanted to do.
Gordon Jones can really run. He's from Pittsburgh. He can motor.
Might as well just throw it up high and deep into the end zone and hope if you have time. Going to take off. No time left on the clock, and Doug Williams finally falls down at the 20.
Is that a wild play to finish on? How do you stop the clock when you got an open field for 30 yards in front of you?
The answer is you don't, and you head for the dressing room, and that's what's happening right now. The end of the first half, and it's been a good, solid, exciting first half. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers 17. The Dallas Cowboys 14. Both young quarterbacks and both looking good, don't you think?
I think both teams are looking good, and I like it because they're hitting one another.
The Buccaneers lead the Cowboys by 3.
Furman, but a pretty even half. I would say I'm a little bit surprised that Tampa's that wide open on offense. I really expected them to be very close to the vest.
Did you know, by the way, as you see Tampa Bay coming back on the field, that somebody has finally figured out why they left a hole in the roof of Texas Stadium?
Why?
Because they have to have a place for the balloons to get out.
Otherwise, we'd be up to our waist in balloons, right? I have a feeling the second half is going to be probably even more vicious than the first half. Can't sit back with the Cowboys. They're still a tremendously good football team.
When you have as many good receivers, and you have a quarterback who can obviously throw the ball, and you have a running back as explosive as Dorsett, you know you can't sit back.
Danny White had 13 of 21, Pat, for 147 yards. Pretty fair country half for the new quarterback for the Cowboys.
Raphael Septien will kick off then. Gary Davis is deep for Tampa Bay, back at their goal line, number 28. Septien. Another good kickoff. Puts him about a yard deep into the end zone as Gary Davis comes out. Got some running room, gets out just shy of the 20 to about the 19. Stopped by Bill Rowe, another of the Dallas rookies. 17-14. Buccaneers lead the Cowboys. Now they'll have first possession.
Of course, we saw them come out early and run the ball pretty well. Now we've got Too Tall Jones on defensive left end. Let's see how that lineup is. Harvey Martin.
Larry
Cole's back in there. Of course, Randy White. Got D.D. Lewis, Brunig.
And Mike Hegman, the linebacker.
Mike Hegman, the linebacker.
Doug Williams gets it out to Jerry Eckwood. Eckwood cuts back inside. The Dallas defense is there in a hurry this time.
Wow, came out throwing on play number 1, huh?
Checking the Tampa Bay's offensive line, it is still Gene Sanders at left guard. The rest of the offensive line remains the same. Revis, Wilson at center, Roberts, and Charlie Hanna.
It's a pretty good little play off the roll because he is a very fine rolling type quarterback, semi-roll. That time he pulled the guard, or the tackle out in front, Hanna, so that the back wasn't completely naked out there either. It's a good-looking play.
It'll be second down and 6. Ball at the Buccaneer 23. Doug Williams, the quarterback, throws out to Eckwood. Got some blockers in front, and Eckwood is quick. Gary Eckwood out to about the 38-yard line. A Tampa Bay first down. Steve Wilson on the tackle.
Really takes the steam out of your pass rush, too, because Too Tall takes the inside this time. Looks like he's going to make penetration, but the perfect call is, again, just a slip. Now, Roberts, 61, the big offensive guard, is already out there. And as you said, Eckwood doesn't waste a lot of time, does he? Here's Too Tall. Now, you're going to really blow the first series coming out because you're hot, right? Been yelled at by Stautner for 18 minutes.
Charlie Hanna, the offensive tackle, took him where he wanted to go, to the inside. Then he tried to get out in front of the play. Giles, the tight end, lined up tight on the right. Kevin House in motion left. Doug Williams gives to Ricky Bell. Couple, not more. Ed Too Tall Jones, the first tackler.
You know, I can't remember a team running on Dallas in the first half any better than maybe New England the one time they came in here for a Sunday night game with Cunningham. But, you know, on the ground, Tampa really did a job in that first half.
That was Randy White who came up from behind Ricky Bell and brought him down. It'll be 2nd and 8 for the Buccaneers. They lead 17-14. After a very explosive first half, touchdowns for the Buccaneers by Williams and Giles. Isaac Hagan spins around to the outside, goes out of bounds. It'll be inside Dallas territory as Steve Wilson got him out of bounds.
Doug Williams is fast becoming a great quarterback. That time the safety blitz came with Waters, and the adjustment was made by the quarterback. He just loaded up a little quicker, zipped it, took advantage of the vacant spot.
Boy, he's got a strong arm. And if he wanted to teach somebody how to throw the perfect throwing motion, all right, for a quarterback, that's about what he's got.
He's upright. He uses his height. He's tall.
That quick release, like throwing darts almost. At the 49. Williams got about 7 or 8 yards on that. Perhaps not. That might be a yard too optimistic.
He's not afraid to run. They pulled out the game against the Rams because he rolled out and really got shelled a couple of times by the tough Ram defense and still picked up a big gainer to get him that win in the last few minutes a week ago. He is tough.
Isaac Hagan stayed about a half a second in the huddle and then split out wide to the right. They're in Dallas territory. It's 2nd and 4 to 43. Handoff to Ricky Bell, and Randy White is on top of him almost as soon as he got the football.
Revis was trying to take him down on the block. Watch the right part of your screen. 54 is keeping low. If Randy White has a problem, sometimes he rides a little too high. This time he just beat the block. Roberts is going through on Brunig, but by that time it's pure destruction behind you.
As Gene Sanders trying to block him. Looked like Randy had his mind made up what he had in mind. He carried it out. Third and 7. Williams has the ball deflected again. Knocked away by Ed Too Tall Jones, intended for Gary Davis. And for the first time today, we will see the Tampa Bay punter.
Well, the great thing about the Too Tall Jones at 6'9" is he cuts off that whole right part of vision of the quarterback if he makes some penetration, doesn't get driven off the line of scrimmage.
Looking at Tom Blanchard for the first time today. It's the first time the Buccaneers have had to punt. That's how effective their offense has been. James Jones back deep. Line drive punt. And Jones has some room. Look out. Buccaneers do a good job of getting around that wall that Dallas had set up. It looked like he had some place to go, and Jones might be shaken just a bit. But now he's up and walking, and with 11:05 left in the third quarter, it's Tampa 17, Dallas 14. At Summerall with Tom Brookshire at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas, between Dallas and Fort Worth. Watching the Cowboys in their home opener, losing at the moment to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, unbeaten in 2 starts previously. Looking for 3, 17-14, the Bucs lead.
Dallas rushing game has been virtually non-existent. Now, that's not to say they're not a good team on the ground. It's just that Tampa Bay plays the 34 like a group of assassins. They are tough, and they know what they're doing, and they hit hard, and they're big.
That'd be a good name for them. Tampa Bay Assassin. First down, Dallas at their own 27. Danny White, the quarterback, Tony Dorsett, and Robert Newhouse. And this is the house. And the house rolls for about 6 before Aaron Brown takes him down.
You can almost hear the grunting down there. He is a tough little dude. I don't think Newhouse ever knew how to give you anything but all of it. Of course, right now, Ron Springs is on the sidelines with a sprained ankle. And Newhouse is now going to be the workhorse again, maybe, huh?
Oakland 17, Washington 7, third quarter score. The Raiders rolling as well. Dorsett goes deep. They need 3 for a first. Newhouse will try. That's about what he does. Dave Logan, the nose guard, performing well after a shaky start.
He loaded up that time and jacked the center straight up, moved over in the hole, and played it just textbook perfect, I'll tell you.
My goodness. 51-7, Los Angeles over Green Bay. That's just the third quarter. And New England 20-17, third quarter score over Seattle. 3rd and 1 at Texas Stadium. Cowboys have the football. They're down by 3. Saldi in motion. Pitch is back to Newhouse again. He'll have the first and more out to about the 42. Curtis Jordan on the stop. Ron Springs, who, as Tom Brookshire said a minute ago, suffered a sprained ankle in the first quarter. Opening minutes, really. First time he carried the ball.
Pretty good blocking job that time at Leroy Selman's side. The NFL's or NFC's most valuable player as a defensive lineman, an all-pro, and one of the great players. And sometimes it's better to run at those people than away from them.
I think, too, it's a tribute to Pat Donovan, the Dallas tackle, that he's been left singly on Selman the whole day and has done an adequate job. Dorsett quickly into the middle. While we have a chance, let's see what is happening indeed with Leroy Selman.
Keep in mind that Donovan is a converted defensive player that is now a great offensive tackle. Well, that Selman can get down into the hole fast, though. He started outside and ends up over the center position.
I like John McKay's comment about why he liked the Selman brothers. Dewey's hurt, of course. He said as he gets older, he likes quiet more. And they both are very quiet.
And very good players, too. There's young Wilson and Waters, and they've got their problems.
They really are. Problems in the Dallas secondary. 2nd and 8 as Drew Pearson swings back in motion. Danny White is pressured. He has Salvi.
Oh.
And Salvi is hit down by David Lewis quickly and viciously.
What a tackle. Lewis is as big as defensive tackles. And he can run. Sully didn't move an inch after contact was made, did he? Except toward the bench.
That's where he is now as Billy Joe Dupree checks in with the play. It'll be 3rd and 5 for Danny White and the Dallas offensive unit.
Good tackling team, Tampa. Of course, you're not the best team in football on defense unless you can tackle, but they do make sure.
Got a throw here. He's got Tony Hill out to the right. Drew Pearson split wide to the left. Dupree, the tight end on the left side. Blocks and then goes, and Dupree has the first down. David Lewis again on the tackle, but Dupree blocked, delayed, and then just sifted his way into the secondary enough for the first down.
Danny White got away with it. He swung both backs out of the backfield, so now it's a lot of solo blocking on some tough people. He sets up, reads it, and that voice you heard in the background saying, "Get him, Leroy, get him, Leroy," was Abe Gibron on the sidelines down there, who's in charge of that bunch, the pass rush bunch for Tampa.
That would be a voice that is not difficult to hear.
Sometimes you wish it was, but...
First down, Dallas at the 44. Now it's down inside the 40 to about the 39 before Aaron Brown makes a stop. Newhouse, the ball carrier. Aaron Brown had a lot of help. He's taking the place of the other Selman brother, by the way, Dewey, out with a pulled groin. Billy Joe Dupree again checks back in. I don't know what that meant. We're number 1.
39 yards rushing at half for Dallas, and it looks like they've decided that we can block them. Come on, let's make them play honest football. And they're doing it. It's a good drive.
A lot of good drives in this game. Dallas took the opening kickoff and went the length of the field. Here's Dorsett swinging wide to the right. Dorsett jumps over somebody, does the dance, loses the football, but he was down. Aaron Brown led the tacklers. Cecil Johnson is number 56.
Of course, when the word is out that you do give the ball up occasionally when you're running so hard, I think Dorsett's had 50 fumbles in his great career here, but those defensive players, when he carries the ball, say, look at 3 or 4 of you grab number 33 and we'll see if the ball comes out.
Word does travel around this National Football League, doesn't it?
Especially on the defensive side, you know.
Sir.
The pirate ship.
Third down. Danny White drops the blitz, looking at him. He's got Dorsett. And Dorsett is out of bounds inside the 30. A Dallas first down again. 5:12 remaining third quarter.
Offensive line is doing some job up front right now. Let's see if they go out and get him aggressively. It's a short pass. Rafferty pulls back and picks up Selman coming the offside. They had a linebacker forcing that time, a dog of some kind from the far side. He makes it look pretty easy, but he's a fluid runner, isn't he?
Tough hitting secondary. Mike Washington knocked Dorsett out of bounds. Let's look at Selman.
Donovan against Selman. Keep him at arm's length. Push him out. Keep him just controlled as much as possible. Excellent job.
We come back live. First down, Dallas. They need 10. There's the Buccaneer 29. Danny White throws. He has Tony Hill. Tony Hill inside the 15 to the 12. Cecil Johnson again on the tackle. Tony Hill having a spectacular year. Landry and Jim Myers, the brain trust, sending the message in by Billy Joe Dupree.
Good sign, by the way. Tony Hill's going to leave. But this talented young man earlier in the year, I thought he maybe quit on a pass he caught against the Redskins. That time he spun, got extra yardage, and looked like he was going to take the shots without any problem. He's walking off the left, too.
He stayed in the game, however, and splits wide to the left. He didn't even have time to say, don't throw it back to me. I need some time. Dorsett deep. Newhouse up in front of him. Danny White gives to Dorsett, and Dorsett is inside the 5 with a 2. Leroy Selman on the tackle. Boy, is he quick.
Straight ahead, right over Fitzgerald. Rafferty comes through, traps. Boy, Dorsett looks like he's going through rush traffic, right? And puts his head down and gets it. Leroy Selman finally gets him.
Rush traffic and winning. And they're going to measure to see if it's a Cowboy first down.
He gets so low, doesn't he, when by the end of the end of his run, Dorsett is about 1.5 feet off the ground.
It'll be first and goal, Dallas. Landry, Myers, and Ditka.
It was Al Levin, too, the new coach that was hired this year.
Right. 4:05 left, third quarter. The Buccaneers of Tampa lead 17-14, but Dallas has it. First and goal at the 2. Newhouse and Dorsett behind White. They both move. White checks to see if they're ready. Newhouse, touchdown, Dallas.
Newhouse's first touchdown of the year. You can see that now they're in a sort of an even man line because it's a goal line situation. He takes it 5 yards deep in the end zone. Watch Fitzgerald's block now.
That's the key.
And there's Scott coming across on the trap. He used to get inside those trap blockers and follow them right on their hip. Some football player, this man, Robert Newhouse.
He wants his job back.
He's got it.
He does today. Raphael Septien for the extra point attempt. Charlie Waters' hold is good, and so is Septien's kick. And so, with 3 minutes and 45 seconds left to play in the third quarter, the Cowboys retake the lead 21-17.
I make one trick shot in a light beer commercial, and everybody thinks they know how to shoot pool. So these guys decided to take me on to shoot a little pool and drink a little light beer from Miller. Because it's less filling.
Tastes great.
Less filling.
Let's quit talking and start chalking.
You break, Bubba.
Sure, I haven't broken anything all day.
Hey, Mickey, what happened?
It's a mystery to me.
You show him, Rodney.
Yeah, show him.
You guys got me all wrong. I think light tastes great, too. But when you're shooting pool, the only thing you want to get filled up is the pocket. 14. 6 ball. Combination.
Steve, how do you do that?
Practice, practice, practice.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Back live in New York, I'm Brent Musburger with an update on the Oakland-Washington game. The Raiders were ahead of the Redskins 10-7. The Raiders had the ball and were moving. Arthur Whittington is having a big day for the Raiders. He was able to turn the corner in this sequence right here from the 42-yard line. The Redskins could not close him, run him out of bounds, and Whittington zipped in for a touchdown. After the extra point, it was 17-7. Then the Redskins came right back. It is now 17-14 as it closes up. Let's send you back to Pat Summerall in Dallas.
Right now, we're back at Texas Stadium. Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire. Raphael Septien just kicked the extra point after Dallas's third touchdown will kick off now. Another good kick. Gary Davis, 2 yards deep in his own end zone, brings it out. Davis upended and tumbled at the 26.
Look at the numbers on this scoring drive. 7 minutes and 15 seconds. And I thought Danny White probably just came of age before our eyes. He mixed it up beautifully. He put together whatever the plan was that Landry and Danny Reeves were sending down to him, and it was really well orchestrated.
Of course, they call the plays and send them in on every play. And the same kind of information in Buccaneer lingo gets to Doug Williams.
Danny White was 6 of 6 since halftime.
First down, Buccaneers at their own 26. 3:35 left. Isaac Higgins catches his own rebound. And it's a complete pass. Picked up 6. Steve Wilson. And no question about the fact that the Buccaneers believe that that's the place to go. They got to give him some help.
And Steve Wilson has got to give up a little ground, especially on the short out. The thing was, he must think to himself, what do I have to do? He's covered people pretty well, and, you know, he's been hanging there by his fingernails, so to speak. When they make the double bounce catch, there's not a lot you can do.
We'll call it 2nd and 5 because that's what the scoreboard has at 31. Doug Williams, Jerry Eckwood, and this is Ricky Bell with the football. He does not make it back. He might make it back to the line of scrimmage before Aaron Mitchell comes up to make the tackle.
Good penetration and good flow that time. Pursuit was excellent by Dallas. Looks like Dallas came out of the dressing room ready to play Texas football.
They make mass changes now on 3rd down when they think that Tampa Bay is going to have to throw. Too Tall Jones goes out. Bruce Thornton comes in along with John Dutton. When you make that kind of substitutes and don't weaken yourself, you have what is known as depth. 3rd and 5, 2:52 left, 3rd quarter.
John Wilson's got to be careful now about worrying about the short pass and getting burned.
Being chased by Randy White. He'll get the 1st down, though, and more. Doug Williams. Steve Wilson herded him out of bounds, but Doug Williams can move.
Well, Anthony Dickerson, a young rookie linebacker, number 51, was in there, but there should have been somebody in the zone that can come up from that linebacking spot and turn this play in. You can see Randy White is the only guy really in position. I think Dickerson just got knocked off his feet. Somebody put a pretty good block on him.
Doug Williams, pretty impressive, I'll tell you. 21-17, Dallas leads. Ricky Bell, Jerry Eckwood will be the 2 running backs eventually. And now it's just Bell alone. His house left in motion. Bell. That's a play that was very successful for him in the 1st half. This time the Cowboys managed to shut it down after just a couple.
And Too Tall Jones is hustling the 2nd half. He has come out now and begin to bat people around. Good run, good pursuit all the way to the sidelines that time. Doug Williams had 52 yards rushing at halftime, and he just picked up quite a few more on that last run. He's at 75 now on 7 sprints.
It's a pretty good average.
Especially when you didn't want to make all of them. He's been forced to do that some.
It'll be 2nd down for the Bucs. 2:37 left. 3rd quarter. They need 7 for a 1st down. Doug Williams. Bell and Eckwood behind him. This is Eckwood. Eckwood taken down by Brunig just short of a 1st down. The middle linebacker got over in a hurry. He'll probably need a couple for a 1st.
Dallas takes it 7 minutes and 15 seconds and scores, doing some pretty good blocking themselves. It's a good offense that comes back out and says, okay, that's the kind of football we can play too. And right now Tampa's sort of taking that line of scrimmage a little bit, haven't they?
Guy Brown replaces Mike Hegman as the strong side linebacker for Dallas. And the Bucs, in a situation like this, just go with 1 tight end. Obradovich usually makes an appearance, but doesn't this time. They have Kevin House wide to the right. Williams looks at House. Got him. Steve Wilson made the tackle, but out there all alone.
Ball was not thrown very well. It's a very quick setup and throw, of course. It's just for the 1st down. They also know that the rookie Wilson is going to be laying off. He's just got to. Dallas got to get him some help. They got to kick out a linebacker and start giving him a little bit of help, or he's going to be bananas by the 2nd or 3rd week.
Clock running, as you can see, with 1:20 left, and that's in the 3rd quarter. The Cowboys lead the Buccaneers 21-17. But the Bucs on the move again. On the 31 they operate. Williams sidearms it out to Eckwood, and Eckwood breaks a couple of tackles. Gets down near 1st down yardage again. Bob Bruning had to come all the way out to the wide side to make the tackle.
Randy White is running all over the field, scraping up, trying to help. Eckwood put some kind of a move on D.D. Lewis at the corner, didn't he?
Look at the Dallas bench and looks of concern at the moment. Well, you should.
2nd down, 2.
John Fitzgerald is the man nearest to you. Pat Donovan next to him, biting the fingernails. Bet you was taught not to do that. It'll be 2nd and 1.
goes to the strong side, and Giles and Too Tall Jones get mixed up in the blocking pattern, and Too Tall fights to the outside, and Ricky Bell made that cut. That's the tailback cut right there.
Dennis Thurman made the stop on him. Both from SC.
I tell you, Hannah must have done a pretty good job blocking down on Larry Cole, huh?
Amazing. Both these teams have done a remarkable job of taking men who were defensive linemen in college and turned them into fine and outstanding offensive players. Hannah is one of those. Tony Dorsett.
Football player. Make no mistake about it. By the way, it was nice to see Mike Connors and his lovely wife come in the booth. Huh?
Always nice to visit.
Especially a great former athlete like I guess we were, huh?
What do you mean former?
We were. That's past tense. That's all I know.
First and 10 at the 14 for Tampa Bay against Dallas. Isaac Higgins swings out wide to the right. Gordon Jones is to the left. This is Ricky Bell. Bell hit by Mitchell. Knocked out of bounds.
Boy, Tampa's getting good blocking from the outside receivers. Higgins and House and those kids are coming back in and blocking. They're doing it legally. And you can't run the football without those smaller fellows, the sprinters, coming back and being able to block too.
That was Gordon Jones who really got a spectacular block on that last play. And that's becoming sort of a requirement. The wide receivers used to be just dancers. Now they have to be blockers as well.
Flynn Carano limbering up the old soup bone, and does he have a great delivery, huh?
Boy, he's a prospect. Second down for the Bucs. Kevin House splits out wide to the right. Jones again to the left. Eckwood, the ball carrier, hit right at the line of scrimmage by Brunig and Hegman.
And D.D. Lewis, was it? I thought I saw number 50 in there too, and Waters. They manhandled Randy White by grabbing him, trying to bury him too. It looked like a wrestler grabbing him. Great coverage by the linebackers. They really put a solid one on.
I'm looking to see if Danny White is limping or what might be the trouble with him. Carano warming up with Hogaboom.
2 away in the 8th. Just give us an inning in the 3rd.
Doug Williams with confusion takes a Tampa timeout, so remember they'll have 2 left as the 4th quarter winds down. Tampa trails the Dallas Cowboys 21-17. At Texas Stadium, Irving, Texas, Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire. The Buccaneers down by 4 are back at the other end in the enemy's territory. It's 3rd and 3. Doug Williams just used the timeout. Should have confidence in this play. Looks wide to the right. Now he gets away from 2 tacklers, finally throws. Picked off in the end zone by Charlie Waters.
Interception number 2 for Waters and number 2 for the whole Dallas defense.
Jimmy Giles was the intended receiver, a pass that Doug Williams should not have let slip out of his hand.
They were trying to make sure he couldn't do it. Don't throw it, Doug. Don't throw it.
John Dutton.
Earlier it looked like the quarterback, Williams, was in the grasp of tacklers and he maybe should have been blown dead, but he managed to sort of keep his way from being tackled, and this time it cost him. There's Charlie, huh? Knee brace is working, huh? The knee brace might be working a little bit.
Must be. That pass, by the way, was intended for Jimmy Giles. It was John Dutton that was pressuring Doug Williams. First down, Dallas, Dorsett and Newhouse. Running back tandem, and it's Tony D behind Rafferty. Good yardage, about 6. Leroy Selman knocked him out of bounds.
What a block by Rafferty, number 64. Sometimes your guards get out in front cleanly and don't block anybody. And Rafferty came out and, you know, it's my body, I will do with it what I want, and he threw a great cross-body block.
Boy, you talk about good players.
Yep.
Ernie Stotner.
Good coach, too. Talking to Randy, huh? Mr. Hustle, number 54.
Ernie Stotner could hurt you in warm-up.
He did.
21-17, Here's White to Newhouse. Newhouse bounces a couple of times. Leroy Selman is the first man to hit him, and he got some help from David Logan.
What a good demonstration, though.
Larry Bethea, first-round draft choice a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I guess.
Boy, good defensive play, though. I like it. When one pop and they straighten Newhouse up in 2, 3, 4 in a row, that is good team defense.
New England 27 now, Seattle 17. That's truer to form. First down, Cowboys at their own 30. Clock running 13:20. Left to play in the contest. Dallas 21-17 ahead. White throws high. Drew Pearson.
Oh. Incredible.
Butch Johnson, I'm sorry, it's not Drew Pearson. Butch Johnson.
How did Butch get him down, you know? He's got a fairly small foot. I don't know how he got him back. He did sort of a Fred Astaire number here. Watch this. Oh, that's classy, huh?
Too tall Jones. Hello, Ed.
Keep hustling, big fella.
Did you ever see him fight?
Yes.
The year off he took for boxing.
He's a good football player.
Second down and 3. Dorsett rolls outside the 40. Dave Logan. Anthony Dickerson. And
a little bit of heat now. There might be some people having some cramps and all. You know, it's very hot down there on that rug.
Is that what you do for cramps?
Well, that's one of the things. You know, that's the first call for Kohler we've had today, number 77, Jimmy Cooper. Used to play for Wayne Harden back at Temple, and he's done some job. You know, that's the first time 7-7's been around.
First and 10, Dallas. You saw what the two quarterbacks have done. Clock running with 12 and a half minutes left to play. Here's Dorsett. Scoops around to the outside. He got 5 when he should have had nothing.
Tell me he's not tough.
Look. He's lucky he didn't get hurt with that tackle out of bounds then. They buckled his knees underneath.
I know it, but this is some little athlete right here, and I'm saying little because at 190 pounds, that is small. And he will put his head down, he will take a rap. He shows up for practice all the time now, too.
Mark Cotney knocked him out of bounds. Aaron Brown again looking over to the sideline for defensive signals from Tom Bass. It'll be second and 5. Dorsett with a 5-yard gain on that last carry. Tony Hill out wide right. Drew Pearson wide to the left. Again, Danny White drops, and again the protection is excellent. That's Timmy Newsom. He might have a first down.
How much time do you need to complete a pass in this league? There's Big John Dutton on the sidelines, getting some action, and he likes it. Doesn't want to sit on the wood and rust, you know. Good pass protection that time, Patrick. Danny White picked out about 2 or 3 receivers before he made up his mind.
Newsom with that catch enough for another Dallas first down, and they use up the clock. Raphael Septien.
To mind of the game, Rafe.
Quite an athlete, by the way. Ball player par excellence. First down at the 48-yard line. In Buck Tech territory, here's Dorsett. Again with Rafferty in front of him, and Rafferty does a fine job. Boy, what a good block he got. Leroy Selman made the tackle.
Rafferty got what is almost the impossible block. Watch 64 go outside, straighten him up, and get on the far side and cut the linebacker off even further. That is some kind of action.
That was Andy Hawkins that Rafferty blocked. And you just can't do it much better than that. That's directions to the airport.
It's a bad-looking chalkboard they got there.
Yeah.
Sort of seedy looking.
Doesn't look like Landry. Drew Pearson out wide to the right. And Tony Hill left. James Jones in at running back now. Jones number 23.
Last team with the ball may win this game, you know. And everybody gets a hold of it, can string together a 6-minute drive right now.
That's Aaron Mitchell over on the Dallas sideline. He doesn't look like he saw that much of a hitter, but they say he is.
Practice every time. It's the truth. But, you know, he says if you don't do that as a defensive back, I guess you should be a tennis pro or something.
You notice they haven't thrown in his direction much today.
No. He is rugged.
Second down 8 for Dallas at the Tampa Bay 31. And White, who's had good pass blocking throws. Doug Cosby, the intended receiver. Curtis Jordan hit him and jarred it loose. Cosby almost had it.
Good secondary, though. Take the big guys. They're treetop tall, you know, and go ahead and let them go up and get the ball and then cut them down. See if we can shake it loose before we come down with this thing.
Cosby is 6'6".
Oh, that is a good defense they play. Look, he's staying with the tackle all the way down, and Cosby almost caught it, didn't he?
Curtis Jordan, again, the defender who made that excellent play. See what's happening with the Redskins and the Raiders. Oakland by 10, fourth quarter. Pastorini and company. No matter where he goes, he wins. Dallas very fond of that result. The penalty marker down as Drew Pearson did make the catch. There's a catch. Thomas, the defender. Penalty marker down. Illegal motion, I think, is going to be called against the Cowboys.
Yeah, it looked like maybe Newsom moved early, was it? Number 30, it's in there. But, you know, if you had a great safe cracker, wouldn't he be Drew Pearson? Talk about a guy that knows exactly where he is. Maybe he sandpapers his fingertips. I don't know.
It's not a bad idea. I never heard a wide receiver described like that before.
Well, Tommy McDonald, you know, used to play with, used to sandpaper his. And
was he a safe cracker?
No, but he was a very fine catcher of the football with small hands. That's the thing you got to worry about.
Offside, offense, 80 and 88. Third down.
Both wide receivers offside. I don't think I've ever heard that either.
Both wide receivers off. Sounds like a cadence interruption or something, but...
3rd and 13. Ball on the 36. White moves back into the shotgun. John Fitzgerald, the center, with a one-handed snap. Low. Blitz is on. He read it perfectly. And hit Butch Johnson. He is very near a first down.
Olay, boy. He gave himself up, too, Pat. Butch knew he was going to get dug as soon as he made the cut, and he stayed with the ball. He's not looking over his shoulder. No rearview mirror and all that. He knew he was going to take it. It's a great play.
It is just shy of a first down. Danny White had his shoes knocked off. Speaking of giving yourself up, I believe it's just shy of a first down. They're going to measure. Crowd, of course, wants them to go for it. About a foot. Now let's see. If they kick a field goal, the Bucs can tie them with a touchdown. If they get a touchdown, that means the Bucs have got to get 2.
They're going to go for it. I see Saldi in there, so we're going to go with 2 tight ends. Move a little. Cosby and Saldi are in there. Got 3 tight ends, maybe.
And Dupre.
Yep. How many teams are carrying 3 tight ends, I wonder?
Not many, but if you got 3 good ones, I guess it's good. Having a little trouble over on the sideline getting the yardage marker squared away. And that's the problem. That's the reason for the holdup at the moment.
You know, when that blitz comes, the receiver is the one that sort of keys it. He's the one that breaks off the pattern and gets into position to catch that ball.
And that's what Butch did. And they're going on 4th down. Will it be Newhouse or Dorsett? It's Newhouse. Still on his feet is Newhouse. Newhouse inside the 20 to the 17. Breaking tackles is Robert Newhouse.
What an effort. The crowd is eating it up. It's like a nacho. Watch this. Short yardage, straight ahead. Jim Cooper did a great job, number 61. Broke down the whole side of the line. And old Stumpy came roaring out, didn't he?
Curtis Jordan finally made the tackle on Newhouse, and if he didn't, they'd be lining up for the extra point right now. Newhouse and Dorsett still the running back. 8.5 minutes left to play. This is Dorsett to the outside. Cannot get away from Aaron Brown, number 55. Took him down from behind.
Leroy Selman and company played the trap play so well that Tony Dorsett tried to sort of bounce outside. Boy, that Leroy Selman just closed it down. He met Rafferty about a yard and a half this side of the line of scrimmage.
Don't forget how long this drive has been in action, and don't forget how it began with Charlie Waters' interception in his own end zone. Well, the Buccaneers would be in the lead right now. The score is 21-17, Dallas.
Less than 8 minutes left.
Ball's at the 18, second and 11. White gets to Dorsett. Dorsett stays on his feet down to about the 10. Dave Logan, the nose tackle, came out to make the stop on Dorsett.
Again, I want to sort of reiterate what I said. This is a great tackling team that is missing some tackles on some people at high speed. That's Scott leading him out there. Number 33 is the one. Cotney is a good tackler. He just couldn't hang on to Dorsett.
Dorsett has carried 16 times. 15 times, I beg your pardon, 16. That's what we had. 16 for 86, I believe.
Hello, this is white knuckle time now.
7 minutes left to play. 3 tight ends again on third down. White looks, throws. It'll be a jump ball, Dupree, touchdown.
Number 2 for 89. Willie Joe is back in town. Boy, Danny White really floated this nicely. Took a lot off of it. Let him run under it.
Number 41, Charlie Waters will hold. Number 1, Raphael Septien will try for the extra point. The Buccaneers have been able to move the football, though. Don't forget that. Septien is good. 28-17 is correct. We'll return to Texas Stadium after this word from your local station.
Back in New York, I'm Brent Musburger with an update, and for the third time today, the Oakland Raiders have taken a 10-point lead over Washington. Here's how they did it on a 5-yarder, Pastorini to Chandler. And so with time running out, it is now 24-14. One other late score is just in. Seattle has closed to within 3. New England leads them 27-24 in the fourth. Now let's send you back to Pat Summerall and Tom Brookshire in Dallas.
The story at Texas Stadium. Dallas 28, Tampa 17. Raphael Septien to kick off. Gary Davis standing in the middle for the Buccaneers. Another good kick. Davis will return from 3 yards deep in his own end zone. Davis got some room. Gary Davis out to the 30. Good return. Dexter Clinkscale, the tackler. The scoring drive from Dallas. 80 yards after the interception by Waters. They kept it just over 7 minutes, 14 plays, and the touchdown, the 9-yard touchdown pass from Danny White to Billy Joe Dupree. By the way, this is the first game in which Danny White ever in his career as a pro has thrown 3 touchdown passes in the NFL, I should say.
And against a superb defensive team. You know, they're not playing a team that's in the second division or...
Buccaneers will put it up, and quickly. Gordon Jones takes the pass from Doug Williams.
We have roughing the passer after the throw and after the catch. A great pattern by number 84. He drives off. Watch Doug, the semi-roll. Now, this is when he's dangerous. Gets beyond Harvey Martin. And here comes the charge. It's roughing the passer, no doubt about it. A great route, though, by the receiver.
Roughing the passer call will be against Larry Bethea, I believe, number 76. And the Buccaneers snap right back, as they've done all day. All of a sudden, they've got a 1st and 10 at the Dallas 37. With 6.5 minutes and more left to play, 6:43 exactly.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 78, defense, roughing the passer. First down.
Remember, they need 2 touchdowns to win the game.
78 is John Dutton. That's who the official said.
I think you were right.
I think it's Bethea. Whatever, it wasn't intentional. Williams swings it out to Ricky Bell. Bob Brunig right out there with him and takes him down on a good open field tackle.
Bethea got Doug Williams again. If we ever have trouble identifying somebody, let's ask Doug Williams. I bet you he knows who it is knocking him down. Quick slip screen to the left. They are getting penetration, though, Pat. Dallas is getting penetration across that line of scrimmage.
Bethea goes out. John Dutton comes in now to replace him. So it had to be Bethea. On second down, they need 9+. The line of scrimmage is the Dallas 36. Cowboys lead 28-17. Williams throwing on almost every down now. Pressured by Too Tall Jones, but not too much. Incomplete pass, it is ruled as Charlie Waters comes up with a rebound. Jerry Eckwood, the intended receiver. Mike Hegman was with him.
Look at John McKay. He didn't even breathe till he saw that official's call on that. That would have done a El Rapo job right down the sidelines. Doug's not getting a lot of time in the pocket right now. The pocket is being splintered.
Eckwood comes out. Bell is in now. And it'll be 3rd and 9+ with 6:33 left to play now at the 36-yard line of Dallas.
Get that Giles. Get number 88. Put a rope on him.
You know, that's the man that Williams will be looking for. Dallas blitz is all out. Williams throws high. And over the head of the intended receiver, Isaac Higgins. Steve Wilson back there with him as the Cowboys put the heat on Williams.
And good coverage by the young cornerback. He turned back to the inside, was looking for the flight of the ball, and is in pretty darn good position. Let's watch it. Oh, good isolated shot here. Okay, up we go. It's a 9. Looking for the ball. That's not bad. He's going to be a good one.
It didn't look as if either one of them ever saw the ball. It sailed out of bounds, so it was harmless anyway. Landry pacing up and down on 4th down. And 9, the Bucs will go for it. And again, look for Jimmy Giles again. The Cowboys show blitz. This time they don't.
Oh.
Gary Davis had the ball go right through his hand. He had the first down. He had the yardage. Williams hit him. Dallas 28, Tampa Bay 17. 28 for Dallas, 17 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 6:22 left to play.
Pardon the expression. Will they sit on it? Will they just sit on it? Or will they go ahead and try to move the football?
I think they got to try to move it.
I think they better, you know. There's still 6.5 minutes left.
That's Newhouse rolling outside the 40. About the 41 with another good second effort. Aaron Brown made the tackle, but Newhouse nevertheless got 6.
8 carries. He's come up with 35 yards. Pretty good day when you start out just watching, huh?
Ron Springs started the game, suffered a sprained ankle. And Newhouse has come in and done the job. Scored 1 touchdown. Danny White has thrown for the other 3. 2 to Billy Joe Dupree.
Well, it's great to get 5 on the first down if you're thinking keeping the ball, huh?
Pitches back to Dorsett, who scrambles, fumbles. Big stack up over on the other side of the field. And I believe Dallas got it back. Recovery by Billy Joe Dupree. Injured Buccaneer.
Here it is. Let's just see what happened. Dorsett again, always going for the extra yardage. Linebacker just stripped him of the ball.
Mike Washington is the Buccaneer defender who's down right there. We'll bring you up to date on what his condition is when we come back. 28-17. 28-17 Dallas. Mike Washington left the field under his own power. It looked like he had something defective in both of his legs, but not his knees, which is always encouraging. It looked like he might have had a problem with his hamstring muscle.
Yep.
Maybe a cramp. Saldi in motion. Gives to Newhouse. Does Danny White. He got a couple. And I believe a first down for Dallas.
Boy, the Tampa people knew you don't come into Texas Stadium for the home opener and be treated royally. But to score this many points on a defense that had only given up 21 the first 2 games, it's quite an offensive afternoon, isn't it?
And you have to think, I think, without making excuses or without attempting to, that since they've lost 3 starters on defense, the Buccaneers have, that will take its effect. Clock shows 4.5 minutes left to play now. Dallas leading 28-17. First and 10 for the Cowboys. Dorsett behind Rafferty again. And again, Rafferty got a fine block.
Boy, he takes that last step when he gets into position to make the block and stays right through with it. He walks right through people. And that final step is what makes either a good blocker or a good tackler.
2 from the 45-yard line.
Clock still running. 4 minutes. Seattle, New England still at it. And they're really at it. 31-30. Seahawks over the Patriots. 4th quarter.
Got to be the most unpredictable team ever, right? That Seattle bunch?
I'll say. Second down, they need about 3. Here's Dorsett. He'll have it. Or very nearly have it. Andy Hawkins made the tackle.
Dallas laying a little wood on that line now. Begin to bang people, and looks like Tampa Bay has been on the field a long time. That defense has been out there for those long drives. That takes a lot out of you.
And that's precisely, of course, what Dallas would like to do, just keep the ball on the ground and keep it rolling.
Turnovers were large, too, though, weren't they? Waters' interception in the end zone turned the game upside down, didn't it?
Tampa Bay was in a position at that time to take the lead back from Dallas. It was 21-17 when Waters picked it off in the end zone. A scrambling pass from Williams intended for Giles. Here's Doug Williams.
I like his style.
Have to. Dorsett checks out. Newhouse is the lone setback. They have 3 wide receivers and 2 tight ends. Newhouse gets the call. Newhouse to the outside, struggles. Just can't get out of it this time.
I guess we've said it before, but there have been a couple of football players, ball carriers in this league, great ones, and Robert Newhouse is right in that category, that seemed to get hit harder than anybody else. Larry Brown was one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every step of the way was torture, but some thrive on it. I think Newhouse has always been that way.
I think probably it has something to do with their struggle to get extra yards, and they struggle to stay on their feet. And as a result, they stay upright and undefended sometimes. 2.5 minutes left to play. It'll be 2nd and 11 as Dallas leads the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 28-17. And now they call a timeout as the 30-second clock was about to nail them anyway. So they'll go over and have their conference right now, leading with what appears to be a comfortable margin, 11. We are at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire. The Cowboys lead the Bucs 28-17. 2 minutes, 18 seconds left to play. 3 touchdown passes by Danny White. 1 rushing for Robert Newhouse. That's the Dallas scoring.
Boy, Dallas really needed this, though. There were a lot of people in town that were getting ready to say, uh-oh, it's one of those building years. But they haven't lost an opening game at home here since, what, 74? Am I correct? The Giants beat them?
To the Giants, 14-6, back in 1974.
Back in 02.
Second and 11 for number 11, Danny White. Sparkling job today, 19 out of 29, 3 touchdowns. Out to Dorsett. Dorsett struggling to get out of the grasp of Leroy Selman. That's a tough grasp to break.
Great story on Leroy Selman is that, remember when Seattle and Tampa had the coin toss? And Seattle took Newhouse and Leroy Selman went down to Florida.
They've been very happy about it ever since. 28-17, a Cowboy. 60 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety following football, except on the West Coast, where it'll be seen following the presidential debates.
It's at 10 o'clock Eastern time, right?
I believe that's correct.
It's competitive.
There's the story on what's coming up tonight. Important thing is that you will see it in its entirety. Danny White this time operates with a shotgun. The 2-minute warning has been given. The ball is at the Tampa Bay 41. White looks for more. He has Tony Hill. And Tony Hill hurt his ankle or something.
Boy, what a throw.
As he was hit just as he went out of bounds.
What a throw. You know, Danny White might look better in the shotgun than he does taking the snap from center. He looks like he's very much at ease getting that extra second or so. I think Tony might have been having something taped up. He's getting quite a hand up.
He was hurt earlier, went back to the huddle, stayed in the game, but this time he exits. And Butch Johnson will get some playing time. Butch scored the first Dallas touchdown, by the way.
He's just been trying to get in the game for a couple of 3 years. Every time he gets in the game, he does something. Remember Super Bowl 12? It's one of the great catches, I guess, in football history. Roger the Dodger to Butch Johnson.
Butch Johnson. A minute 52. Dallas, by the way, is 9 out of 12 on third down conversions, and that is abnormally high.
What preparation goes into that? So many meetings during the week, you think you're in Congress.
Mike Ditka standing in front of Tom Landry, Danny White over there. A minute 52 left to play.
Ditka hadn't hit anybody yet today, has he? He usually gets somebody comes flying into the bench.
Well, the day's not over yet.
That's right.
28-17 Dallas. Both teams have looked very, very strong offensively today.
And, you know, Tampa has some injuries, as you said. Crowder and Dewey Selman, there's no doubt about it that those are tremendous losses, but they are still a great defensive team, and even makes this team look better on offense.
Can't forget about Cedric Brown being out also. Good secondary man, good safety man. So 3 out of the 11 that normally start for the Buccaneers on defense are absent. And that's got to make a difference. It's a handoff to Newhouse. Fumble, and the Buccaneers have it back, or did for a moment. They were struggling to get up. Yes, they do have it back as the Buccaneer offensive unit comes onto the field. A minute 43. David Lewis made the recovery, but the Bucs will have the football with a minute 43 left to play. Down 28-17. Texas Stadium on a hot Texas afternoon has watched the Cowboys bounce from being behind to take the lead over the Buccaneers 28-17.
Well, we've heard about what a good 2-minute quarterback this young man is, Doug Williams. Let's see what he does in 1:43.
Doug Williams back with lots of time. Intended for Obradovich, who couldn't quite find the handle. Executive producer of this game and NFL football on CBS is Charles Milton III. That's Chuck, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't know he was the third.
Perry Smith has produced, and that's always fun.
Great pictures by Mr. Tony Verna.
As always, too. And the rest of the fellows who make this such an enjoyable afternoon for us, and we hope for you.
And Mike Hagan, our young former Dallas Cowboy man, who's keeping my stats here for me.
There's Doug Williams as Harvey Martin looked for a minute like he had some pressure on him. Kevin House, the intended receiver.
Look around, look around. I hear footsteps and there's someone near. Are you kidding? Poor Doug Williams must wonder, what is this? Maybe we'll get it all out of our system this one game. He's at least 5 passes. 6 passes have been dropped.
Those of you who've been watching Green Bay lose to Los Angeles, welcome to Texas Stadium. Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire. The situation here is Dallas 28, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 17. It's 3rd and 10, a minute and a half left to play. The Bucs have the ball at their own 24. pocket, gets it out to Ricky Pell. Pell fights for first down yardage, will not quite have it.
Wow.
Randy White chasing down the field.
Boy, what a beautiful movement inside the pocket, though, by Doug, huh?
60 minutes will be seen. All of it following football, except on the West Coast, where it'll be seen following the presidential debates. And you'll see all of 60 minutes.
Dick Vermeil probably had a party with the staff over today, and since they weren't playing, I imagine he's taping this game. He's probably already going with X's and O's, you know?
I'm disappointed to hear that. I thought he worked all the time.
At home, he's even working. He's all football. That's going to be some meeting, though, when Dallas finally runs into Philadelphia.
Meantime, they have to play the New York Giants tomorrow night. Those Eagles do. Are they as good as the scores would indicate so far?
The Giants, you mean?
No.
The Eagles?
The Eagles.
Yeah, they're the best prepared team I think I've ever seen.
Well, that's a pretty good start. A minute 19 left to play here at Texas Stadium as Doug Williams over for a visit with the offensive coordinators under John McKay. That's Bill Johnson, one of them.
I'll tell you one thing, with young Phil Simms, New York's going to split with some teams in this league, in this division in particular, that don't think it's possible. He is a dynamic young quarterback.
He can throw it. If you haven't seen him yet.
I'm really impressed with number 12, aren't you? Number 11 for Dallas, number 12, but
Doug Williams.
Boy, I'd say. He is a quarterback.
Yeah, a lot of poise, both of them. Gordon Jones comes out wide to the left. There goes Isaac Hagan to the right. Again, Williams rolls out. Going to take off. Penalty marker down. Williams goes out of bounds over and collides with Landry. There was a time that Mr. Landry would tackle with a vengeance.
Like last week. I wouldn't run into the bench when they were playing Denver, would you?
No. A lot of people forget what a good defensive back Tom Landry was in his days with the Giants.
The preliminary signal offside against the Cowboys.
Let's see what the ruling is now. 28-17. The Buccaneers, if things stay like they are, will be 2-1. And Dallas will be 2-1.
The Zebra's going to give it to us.
Offside, defense, number 78. First down. No, it's
Offside, defense, number 78.
78. On defense offside, John Dutton.
Showed a lot of hustle today, hadn't he?
Yes, he has. Again, the same offensive setup as Higgins goes out wide to the right. Jones is split to the left. Harvey Martin all over Doug Williams. Harvey took the inside route. Made it work.
And Doug will not give up that ball, you know. That's the one thing he might learn a little bit. You know, he's going to have to either put it away or throw it up here in the press box. He's going to get hurt if he stays under that ball too long.
A minute 10 left. Danny White, in the event he does not come back, had a sensational day. 21 out of 31 and 3 touchdowns. 2 to Billy Joe Dupree, 1 to Butch Johnson. Bruce Thornton has replaced Harvey Martin at defensive right end now. And Bruce picked off by Dennis Thurman. And Thurman swings down inside the Tampa Bay 20-yard line. Down to about the 19 where the Cowboys.
And, of course, they got Thurman from USC, right? If there's any irony, I guess that could be considered some.
Let's quickly run down some of the other scores. Final, 27, Detroit over St. Louis. San Francisco beat the Jets. They're still unbeaten, 37-27. Other scores, let's see. Pittsburgh lost to Cincinnati 30-28. Field goal in the last second did that. Miami defeated Atlanta 20-17. They're 2-1 now. The Dolphins are. Cleveland 20, Kansas City 13. Buffalo over New Orleans 35-26. All these, by the way, are final scores. Houston 21, Baltimore 16. The Colts had some chances, but settled for a lot of field goals. Los Angeles 51, Green Bay 21.
It's Doug Williams they're helping off. That was the player knocked out on tackling the interceptor.
This one is still going. This is not a final. Oakland 24, Washington 21. Doug Williams looks like a problem with the right eye. San Diego 30, Denver 13 in the fourth quarter. Boy, that's a surprise.
How about making the tackle after the interception?
New England 37, Seattle 31, fourth quarter. That's the wild one. Well, Doug Williams, as we've said over and over, as he heads now for the locker room, with a cut over his right eye, it appears. 59 seconds left to play. Dallas has a first down just inside the 20 of Tampa Bay. Set, and that carry for what looks to be about 2 yards would put him over 100 for the day if our records are correct.
Over a 5-yard average, and he sneaks up on you. Only had 32 at half, huh?
28-17, the Cowboys over Tampa. Boy, this NFC Eastern race is going to be something. It's not going to be something in the Central and the West as well.
And the quarterbacks that we thought were not there, we're finding out are here. Young Williams and Danny White. Jaworski is out of sight right now. Maybe the best quarterback in football.
Dallas with the clock still running now. Cowboys 28-17 will be 2-1. They used too much time. As you know, you have 30 seconds to get the ball in action. And the clock ran out on the Dallas Cowboys.
Would you ever like to see the two teams shake hands like they do in hockey when the series is over or anything? You ever thought about that?
Not really.
Be pretty dangerous sometimes.
Yes, I think.
Delay of the game. Offense, number 11, second down.
Number 11. Seven seconds, one more play is probably all. Buccaneers will leave a couple hours after this game is over and head back for the Tampa Airport.
Sure hope Mr. Culverhouse is feeling better.
We do. Danny White just kneels. And now they're shaking hands. That's what you wanted.
I like that. I think that's great. You know, when it's over with, it's over. You got to load it up and do it again next week.
Yeah, you know, as I think back, it's been a long time. I know there's Tom Landry, but when the Eagles and the Giants played, I don't remember you ever coming and shaking my hand.
Are you serious? There's no way. You were on the other team. I could barely shake hands with the guys on my team.
28-17 is going to be the final. 5 seconds left on the clock.
Illegal motion, offense refused, third down.
It'll be third down.
Illegal motion, offense refused.
And Tom Landry has once again won the home opener at Texas Stadium as the Cowboys have defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 28-17. Stadium sold out today on a hot afternoon. Very hot, but as we were told from players from both teams, we're used to the heat. And
both teams came with shoulder pads and hit well, Patrick.
They certainly did. They both were able to move the football. Let's go to New York. CBS Control and Brent Musburger.